Oh,
They'll
weird.
emasculate your whole power.
Hang on.
Oh, am I muted?
Sorry, Shawn's not here yet, so
I should have known. I should have went and set up.
you should be good now. You should be heard. No, his mom said, "Turn on the mic, Josh."
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I swear I'll try to not make you angry today.
Oh, you don't. When it comes to the people that are on FunkShop TV, you're not the one that makes her angry. I promise.
Oh, really? Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I feel guilty most of the time. I feel like I'm inciting.
Yeah, sometimes she probably gets frustrated, but we all get frustrated when we don't see eye to eye from time to time.
Yeah,
It's kind of a natural reaction.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, Mom said mom doesn't.
Okay, good. I just try my absolute best to at least explain my positions thoroughly, so at least we have a understanding of where I'm coming from. And it's never from a point of hostility or malice, you know. It's like I genuinely say, when I say I want the best for this country and I want to see everybody be successful, I genuinely mean that, you know. I mean, I spent the majority of my 20s working with underprivileged kids and kids with special needs. And so I tried to get back in the way I thought most fit with the least amount of education that I had, you know, at the point. So, like I said, I genuinely believe that we should all be striving and doing what we can to get back to the community and, you know, further this country. But I just really do truly believe that some of us just don't agree on what the end goal is, for one, and then how to achieve those end goals, for two. And if you don't even have the same vision, obviously you're going to differ on how to get to those visions. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I don't disagree with that. Mom said we all want the best.
Yeah.
Mom said doesn't get angry. Typing does not convey the right tone. Like I
Really,
explained. Like
yeah, there's no tone, and you can only get as much information in a small amount of space as you can.
well,
So
you know what?
sometimes-
Part of the problem with today's society, and it's not necessarily a fault that you can pinpoint on anyone. It's a fault in general.
Yeah.
That we do so much communicating via text message, via comments, and a Facebook thread, that we're only left to interpretation. Whereas when we talk face to face, you can hear my tones, you can tell what kind of demeanor I'm having.
Yep.
So you can understand 90% at least of what I'm trying to convey.
Mm.
Whereas with text, when you have interpretation, you can read something in a completely different context than the person who wrote the message.
Oh yeah.
You know, if we all read a book, we're going to see different parts of that book that stand out to us, or have different emotions that are evoked from the same exact words and the same exact sentence structure. Yeah. But humans on a mass level could get completely different messages from the book.
Well, that's why I think
called the Bible.
Context and clarification is so important in this day and age, because we have the ability to communicate in real time. So getting to know somebody's true thought process, or being able to expound on a thing that they may not have already had the opportunity to. I mean, we have things like the Joe Rogan podcast, or things of that, that nature, where we can sit, or things like this where we sit for 2-3 hours, and we should be able to fully explain whatever point that we're trying to make. There shouldn't be any stones left unturned at that point.
Right.
We should be able to explore all the different avenues, and I appreciate the fact that here, unlike a lot of places, we can actually do that to a certain degree and keep it civil.
At least try to.
Yeah, at least
none
try
of
to.
us
Sometimes
are
it
experts.
devolves to, ridiculous. But for the most part, I feel like we can do that and still come back at the end of the day and everything's fine, And I wish more places could approach situations.
What happens here stays here.
It's
this
real
is
tough.
Vegas. It is tough. Ooh, my CPU's running at 98%.
Oh damn.
Woo.
You got Discord up again?
Yeah. I'll shut her down.
I really do think that has something to do. At least
I do too. I want us to be able to be logged in, so all of the different Discord groups can.
Well, hopefully
have
it sounds like the Arctic Silver is going to be here today. I think I told you.
Is it going to make that much of a difference?
It should.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if it's what I think it is, and I forgot to bring a fan too, but I can just run home and grab it and then run back after we're done. I just gotta go to a doctor's appointment at 2, and then I'm pretty much free after that. So.
Weird.
But yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't think it's the fan though, because the fan, like we've talked about.
Well, I just shut.
Have a good one.
Later, bro.
Seems to be working fine. So I'm pretty sure it's the Arctic Silver. But of course,
Wow.
we got.
See, I
we
don't
had
know
the-
enough about this stuff, so.
Yeah, we had the Amazon Prime come in, and somehow it got lost in the mail, so they had to resend it. So
Oh.
2 days again, and it should be here today this time.
You have Amazon Prime?
My roommate does.
Okay, make sure that they complain about it.
Oh, he did.
Okay.
He's trying to get it for free.
Yeah.
It's only
Well,
like $10.
What they'll
but-
usually do is add on an extra 2
credit.
months to your Amazon Prime
Oh,
if you don't get your shipping on time. I've seen a lot of reports of that. So
nice. Well, he is.
yeah, I closed Discord and we dropped down to 70%.
Told you. Yeah, we.
Back up to 90, but I have a ton of windows open because we have a ton of shit to go over today.
Yeah. Oh man, shit's been. It's been so much going on.
Yeah.
It was only Sunday.
Right. Well, since
We ran Saturday, but we didn't really talk about anything political.
yeah, we will
Tried to.
never talk news on the weekend. In fact, I really don't like once we hit this 25 days challenge, which should be done today.
Nice.
I really don't care to go live on the weekends.
Yeah, get a break. Get your mind right.
Yeah, like I'll leave the studio available for Duane and Fransico, for you, for whoever wants to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. After we reach this achievement, I don't need to do this daily anymore.
For sure.
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
It's just a lot. If it's slow news, but it really hasn't been. Shit has just been rapid fire.
I know.
Fuck.
And there's so much more that, like, I want to get way more involved in sports. I want to get way more involved in what's going on in Hollywood. You know,
Yeah.
Hollywood buzz.
I
But
know
there's
the least about sports, so that'll be like you and Shawn.
Matt said that's when the Low Show airs naked. Yeah, that's why I don't want FunkShop TV to be on the weekends, because I don't want the porn shit that Matt Lowe needs to bring to the table. So y'all can do that on your own time.
Yeah, so clearly the viewer thing hasn't been fixed either.
That's another reason why I don't want to do this daily. Because at least until Twitch fixes their stuff, it's really discouraging. Like right now, I'm doing this so we can have YouTube clips,
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, just it's perplexing that we literally have at least Matt and your mom in chat, but only one.
Matt,
viewer.
I don't hate you. I hate the fact that you feel like you need to be overboard pornographic to be funny.
Well, you don't have to be. I mean, the whole thing.
Some
is
people do.
You have. Well, some people do.
Some people do.
I don't think
but
Matt does.
Matt doesn't. I don't think
Yeah,
Matt
is
does.
hilarious without
Yeah.
any of that.
Yeah.
But I am gonna sex him up as soon as we get some chairs. That's still.
You
gonna
guys
happen.
can do, look, whatever you guys, that's got to be on Matt's channel. You guys can do whatever you want. I don't care. Just clean up your mess.
We'll towel up, towel down,
Yeah.
towel something.
Well, this first story, let's see. I'm going to go through the stories and see what we can do without Shawn, because some of the stuff he's not going to want to care about.
You mean most?
Anything political, but there's some non-political stuff.
Oh, good.
Let's see. No, he'll want to be involved in that one.
Right? Why are so many people against group sex?
To each their own.
I know. It's
If
so
people are
weird.
against it, they're allowed to be against it. If you don't have to go to therapy. If that's your thing, that's your thing. You know, who am I to judge you?
All I'm saying is sharing. is
Shawn
caring,
probably wouldn't
okay?
care about this story. So, this actually came out on the 26th after we went live. 3 men get at least 25 years in prison in Kansas plot to kill Somali Muslims. So, what's the difference between a Muslim and a Somali Muslim?
I don't know. I know there's a bunch of regional differences, but I'm not even near as versed as.
I want to look that up.
Yeah. Did you already share it on Facebook too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You some mumble bitch.
Okay, there's difference between Islam and Muslim. That's
Well, yeah.
I'm looking up the. I typed in what's the difference between regular Muslim and
Muslims
Somali
are-
Muslim.
Yeah, Muslims are the people. Islam is the faith.
So one's Shia and one's Sunni, I'm assuming.
Yes, probably would be my assumption.
So what are Somali Muslims?
Yet again, like I said, I don't know the finer differences.
Get things done. With Monday.com.
I'm diving in.
You know who knows a lot though on that issue? Sam Harris. He is like the expert essentially.
Islam was introduced to the northern Somali coast early on from the Arabian Peninsula shortly after the Hijra. Zila's to Mirab Masjid al-Qiblatain dates to the 7th century and is the oldest mosque in the city. Let's see. Here's just a question on Yahoo. Maybe this will help. Hello. Go ahead. I got to take this.
Okay. Well, how you gonna leave me without the story? What a dick. All right, I'm going to his spot. Why are these Somali Muslims in Minnesota? That's a great question. Oh, this is so unorganized. Oh, yes. Okay, so let's see. How Pelosi won the shutdown battle. Pelosi's victory will help define her over the next 2 years as she clashes with Trump. 2 months ago, Nancy Pelosi was battling an international Democratic rebellion trying to bar her from the speakership. Pelosi faced doubts over whether she was the right person to lead the new Democratic majority, despite shepherding her party to the victory on Election Day, as some colleagues demand she step down after 16 years in power. Interesting. I gotta say, it's pretty fascinating how people are back and forth on this whole thing, how you can literally have the same story and people spinning it a different way. Because you hear the conservatives pretty much saying that Trump won or positioned himself efficiently and was kind enough to give people back their jobs. So I find it truly fascinating. They think Pelosi won on the left, and they think that Trump won on the right. Yeah, they call it a fold over here. They call it a kindness on the other side. This is just interesting times we live in. Yeah. Longest shutdown by 14 days. Jesus. Yeah, we are in a bad state of affairs, my friend. oh, the whole Pelosi thing, or how polarized it is.
What do you mean?
Essentially, how the Democrats are swinging it or saying, essentially, Trump folded, they won, and then on the conservative side or the Republican side, they're saying Trump won. He was a kind dude. He gave back people's jobs and got them back to work where the Dems wouldn't. And then he's getting his thing anyways in 15 days. He's already proposed whatever, and they have 15 days to, pretty much negotiate. And so it's like interesting to hear both sides of the argument. It's
right.
Like, it could be swung either way, or like you could make the argument for either side.
Right. Either side is actually right.
Technically.
Even though they clash and they,
right?
Yeah. But technically, yes, they're both right.
Yeah, it's very fascinating how you can take the same truth and spin it in two different ways.
And that's exactly what we're talking about, the interpretation.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as the Bible. You can take it, depending on how you read it or the context that you read it in, if you don't consider the broad picture, like who was it written to, in a biblical sense, who was it written to, who wrote it, those sort of things. With this Pelosi situation, it absolutely depends on which direction you want to look at it from.
Yeah. Well, and I've done, at least on the biblical side, what I try to do here is just look at things as thoroughly as possible, look at all the sources that I can, and time and time again, with this as well as the biblical side, pretty much nobody has a good answer once you get right down to it. Once you get right down to when is it okay to own people, or when is it okay to subjugate women? Or
isn't Politico usually like nonpartisan, non-biased?
They're more left-leaning, I'd say.
Are they?
I feel like they're kind of like me. They're like center-leaning left.
Because this headline even says she's not one to bluff how Pelosi won the shutdown battle.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like they're kind of like me. They're a little bit biased, at least to a certain degree. But I mean, on most things, I think I'm socially liberal on damn near everything. But then I believe in gun rights, and I believe in the Constitution, and I believe in national security.
Almost every single liberal I know believes in gun rights.
Not me.
Got to be specific.
Oh,
I don't know a single Democrat that says take all the guns away.
I don't know anybody who says take all the guns away.
Right. So there is some gun rights. You got to be more specific. You mean gun rights as in anybody should have a 50-round clip?
They want people to have like 4-round clips and stuff, or it's like the newest proposal or something.
Well, and like we've discussed time and time and time again, a proposal, you always start with a number that's way extreme so you can meet somewhere in the middle. It's negotiating tactics.
Yeah. No, and I understand negotiation tactics, but they're trying to essentially stop the American public from having any sort, like, people just don't even understand guns at all. They hear rifle and they don't understand semi-auto versus auto, and it's like most guns are semi-auto. All handguns are semi-auto. Like, you pull the trigger once and it fires one bullet. Most people don't even understand that concept. So how can you even begin to have a conversation, when the knowledge level is so poor? It's one of those things where we need education and we need training. I think having a more armed public breeds a safer public, and that almost proves itself across the board.
I mean,
when you go into an area and you think everybody's strapped, you're way less likely to pull out your strap. That's just how it is, because niggas can put you down.
There are countries that have proven that, but there's also countries that have proven that having zero tolerance for firearms, it's the same way.
Is what?
When people are getting in fights, they're fist fighting.
Crime over in Europe is near the same, if not more. It's just you're getting stabbed now, which is a lot more personal. I'd rather get shot and go to sleep than get stabbed 35 times and lay there suffering.
I'd much rather have a high school student walking around with a knife than a pistol in the hallways of a school. Absolutely much rather.
Yeah, not me.
Because I guarantee some jock is going to be able to tackle that high school student with a knife before he's able to shoot 30 people.
Yeah, well, kids shouldn't have access to guns like that.
Well, I agree, and that's why we need gun law.
I mean, it's as simple as enforce the laws that we have. You're supposed to have your guns in a gun safe. You're supposed to have them with some sort of key lock or something on them.
Well, and that's another fight of the NRA. If we do enforce the laws, so if the police were able to get a manifest, let's for hypothetical reasons, if they got a manifest of licensed gun owners and they decided we wanted to do home checks, is that constitutional?
I don't know.
How many people would be offended and say they're not coming in my home?
I think if you're not taking them, I don't know if that's unconstitutional, because you pretty much register them anyway, so they essentially are supposed to know what you have.
Personally, I agree with that.
So but let's think to come in and see how you're maintaining them and make sure that they're logged properly, or you have I don't personally have a problem with that, but I don't know if that's violating people's rights constitutionally. I'd have to hear the argument or see. I just don't know how, that personally.
Right. Okay, so if you had to assume, how do you think the majority of gun owners would react to that?
I mean, they probably wouldn't like it, but like I said, even me personally, as somebody who feels like we shouldn't curtail many gun rights at all right now, I think that that's a completely reasonable statement.
So can you not step around my question and say?
I said yes. I agree 100%. I would be okay with that.
No, I know, but my question wasn't about you personally.
I'm sorry.
How do you feel like the majority of American gun owners would react?
Oh, I answered that too. They would not like it.
Right.
They would be very upset about it. But I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't like. I don't like going to the DMV every year. I don't like having the licensed vehicle. The thing is, when you have something that can potentially harm hundreds of people or thousands of people, you have to treat it as such. We all license our vehicles and do that every year and make sure that we're up to par. And I think that also needs to be approved upon. We don't do a stringent enough job of that, making sure people will have good vision and drive properly. But
absolutely,
that's a whole nother argument.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I mean, the whole thing is being reasonable and trying to compromise. If there's a debate or there's somewhere we can meet in the middle to appease everybody, I think we should be at least talking
Entertaining
about it. You know?
Yes, it should be entertained. It should be talked about instead of screamed about. The problem is
Yeah.
when there's big money being dumped into campaigns or being put into senators' pockets or congressmen pockets or congresswoman pockets from an organization like NRA.
Yeah.
I mean, first we have to eliminate these organizations that are able to funnel money into the pockets of the people making these decisions to influence them a certain direction.
Yeah.
Then we can really probably start to scrape off the surface of some of these issues that we as Americans should be dealing with, should be taken care of. A lot of this stuff should have been dealt with and taken care of years ago. Why are we still arguing over stuff like this?
Well, it's because we're kind of going backwards on some things, but I think sometimes you got to take a step back to take two forward, you know?
Right.
Like, we had to take a step back and assess things in the nation to get, like, gay rights forward, you know, to move progression forward. But at the same time, I don't know if because of that, we may have muddled the water, like, too rapidly. And not that I think we should go back on gay marriage at all. Like, I'm not even hinting, like, humoring that, you know? I think that was a fundamental right that...
But some boundaries still need to be...
But I think other boundaries have been pushed because of it, and maybe we need to start thinking about it. Like that one kid we were talking about who's taking pictures with grown naked men.
Right.
I think we kind of swung the pendulum too far in the other direction, trying to appease everybody.
Well,
you know.
And like we also discussed, what are we going to do about the child pornographist that now says thanks for the host, Duce. The person that says I've always been attracted to young girls.
Exactly.
How do we deal with that now?
Yeah, well,
they'd be like, well, how come this man can be attracted to a man, but I'm not allowed to be attracted to young girls?
And you can, but if you're attracted to somebody who's that, like, you have a mental something going on, and I'm slightly more compassionate just because of like our history that much older men wanted to date much younger women, or that was kind of like more or less kind of like bred into society or normalized. And not that it makes it right by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said, I'm slightly more compassionate to it than I would be just other random, you know, fetishes or things. But at the same time, it's still something that needs to be addressed. And I think that not having an outlet for these people to go and talk to, like pretty much the second they go and they confess any of these things, like liking children or whatever, there's no psychological help we can get.
Right, they're ostracized.
Yeah, they're
immediately
completely demonized and put into a box, and so they have to pretty much hold this secret tight and never reveal it to anybody. And I think that kind of breeds more negative, you know, behavior than good. I think having people who specialize in that sort of treatment and are able to help them maybe get the therapy that they need and address these things. And I don't even begin to know the science behind it. And I don't even think psychologists do, because it's been so like demonized. Like you can't even talk to these people. And so it's like one of those things that you can't even, I don't know if there's any good research about how to treat it, how to go about helping people work through it.
Right.
I think that they've started to do it in other places. I want to say I heard something about maybe Sweden. I feel like they're the place that does all the experimental cool shit.
the
we'll try anything
progressive
once,
we're better than America because
Yeah.
we're at least trying to figure out how to get to the root of the problem. And
Well, I feel like it's the whole world is just running social experiments everywhere. We're just trying to figure out the best way to do
Yeah.
things, you know?
except America.
America as well.
Our colleges are, but
Well,
man,
yes and no.
our federal system doesn't support
I
that.
mean,
They
if
just want to keep
If you're on a college campus and you try to be conservative, good luck.
our federal system just wants to keep people medicated.
That is also true.
They just want an
Big
excuse
pharma,
to shove
trillions of dollars
medications up somebody's
every
ass.
year. That's a whole nother subject.
If they could fix gay by putting a suppository in somebody, they would.
Didn't they try that?
Probably.
A gay drug or something? I feel like.
Mike Pence is going to watch this and go, you know what? That's probably a safer idea than shock therapy. Let's try it.
Well,
We're gonna
it's definitely
give
safer than shock therapy.
anal suppositories of testosterone to men and anal suppositories of estrogen to women. Maybe that'll cure their gay.
Pray the gay away. That's the strat.
What up, Shawn? Good morning.
What's up?
You look happy to be here.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
What?
Oh shit! I didn't even realize you weren't on. Hey, Shawn's here.
Yep, I am
That's
here
Monday.
physically.
I mean, you didn't have to be. You could have taken a day off.
No, I was just super slow moving today. My back fucking locked up.
Yeah, we know that feeling. Whoops, going the wrong direction.
I most
Hey,
certainly
there
know
you
that
were.
feeling quite well.
You want me to turn down your white balance or something, Shawn?
It looks okay, I guess.
So apparently, Somali Muslims do practice Sharia law. I'm gonna have to do some more diving in because I don't want to be ignorant and misquoting anything. But
I mean, we're gonna be ignorant. We can't learn all of the faith right here in 5 minutes.
so the reason I asked,
Yes, you can.
Finer differences, I know, right?
is because the first news article I want to dive into is 3 men get at least 25 years in prison in Kansas plot to kill Somali Muslims. 3 men were sentenced Friday to at least 25 years in federal prison for attempting to blow up an apartment complex in western Kansas where Somali Muslims lived, a plot that unnerved the refugee community. Patrick Eugene Stein and Curtis Allen of Kansas and Gavin Wright of Oklahoma chose the apartment complex in Garden City, a city of 26,000, partly because it contains a mosque, authorities said. Today's sentence is a significant victory against hate crimes and domestic terrorism, acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker said in a news release Friday from the Justice Department. The defendants in this case acted with clear premeditation in an attempt to kill innocent people on the basis of their religion and national origin. That's not just illegal, it's morally repugnant. The Somalis, who settled in a Garden City because of employment in the meat packing industry, appreciate the support they've received in the town and do not intend to harm anyone, according to one woman who spoke after the sentences were handed down. Please, we need peace and love, said Ifra Farah, a member of the Somali community, according to CNN affiliate KWCH in Wichita. Because we came here for better lives, we are refugees. We live here. We are not bad people. We love everybody. Justice Department, a confidential source, is the one that saved lives. The 3 men were found guilty in April on one count of conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction and one count of conspiracy to violate the housing rights of their intended victims. The jury also convicted Wright of lying to the FBI in a matter involving domestic terrorism. During the trial, prosecutors said the men began plotting an attack after the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida. The men referred to Muslims as cockroaches and, in words to the prosecutors, described in the most extreme and violent terms what they planned to do to them. The FBI conducted an 8-month investigation. The 3 defendants had several meetings to discuss their plans and took significant steps, including making and testing explosives, according to the U.S. government. Confidential source, whom the government credited for thwarting the attack and saving the lives of innocent victims, recorded numerous conversations during which the defendants discussed and refined their plan, the Justice Department said. As the plan solidified, the defendants discussed obtaining 4 vehicles, filling them with explosives, and parking them at the 4 corners of the apartment complex to create an explosion that would be sure to level the building and kill its occupants. Stein met with an undercover FBI agent in an effort to obtain a bomb. The department said the agent posed as a black market arms dealer. On Friday, Allen was sentenced to 25 years, while Wright got 26 years and Stein 30 years. Today's sentencing speaks to the FBI's commitment to protect the communities we serve and our continued obligation to disrupt plots where the intent is to commit violence and harm to others, said Darren Jones, special agent in charge of the FBI Kansas City division. Jim Pratt, Stein's attorney, had asked for a more lenient sentence for his client because of Donald Trump's rhetoric during the 2016 presidential campaign and the public mood against Muslims. So he's basically trying to blame Trump's Muslim ban on inciting these guys. Pratt told CNN he'd never seen anything like this lead up to the 2016 elections. It wasn't just the rhetoric of Trump, who ahead of the election called for a ban against all Muslims entering the U.S., but it was rhetoric of everybody that put fear into the system and made people believe that if Trump won, on the first day he'd take office, the world was going to implode, he said. Or if he won, martial law was going to be declared and Hillary Clinton was going to be put into office. Such language fueled hysteria in people like Stein, who had been lost and ignored. Pratt wrote in a sentencing memo filed in federal court in October. The men wanted their time to attack the Garden City apartment complex for the day after the 2016 election, but because Trump won, the men who had been arrested a month earlier may not have gone through with their plan, Pratt said. Trump's win changed everything, and it's reasonable to speculate that it would have changed things among the defendants as well, the filing said. The urgency for action would be gone. The feeling of losing a battle would be gone. So, if Trump would have lost, and an FBI agent wouldn't have gotten word that these guys were planning on blowing up an apartment complex, they would have blown up a fucking apartment complex.
At least.
Do you remember the Oklahoma bombing?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Wasn't
Oklahoma
that
City?
one truck?
Fertilizer bomb
Yeah. So, it was one
in like a U-Haul, right?
Ryder rental truck. Yeah, or U-Haul. A box truck. Tried to share that article on Facebook. Oh, the AP News article, and Facebook kicked it out as not acceptable to their community. Talking about the article about the 3 men that tried to blow up the apartment complex? Fucking Facebook, dude. Facebook censorship is getting worse and worse every day.
Yeah, I know. I got banned a couple times for posting memes.
Yeah?
Just some regular things. Yeah, I posted, I don't remember.
My mom said she tried to share an article by the Associated Press. And Facebook said it's not acceptable to their community.
What?
Yeah. It was the article about this. The 3 men that tried to blow up an apartment complex.
That were like offensive. Like one was a Nazi frog and one was a...
Good morning, Nolan. So the Oklahoma bombing, as huge as that was, it was one truck. These guys were planning on doing 4 bombs at the corners of this apartment complex.
They would have got everybody, probably.
Inside and out. Like, the radius... God, that would have been immense.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if people want to do dumb, belligerent shit and hurt people, there's so many ways to do it. You think guns are the only way? Like, dude, the thing is, it's the desire. We need to start figuring out why people have the desire to hurt people. And it's the divisive nature of this country. It's the fact that we're so polarized and everybody acts like everybody else is the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Like, stop the madness. Can we not, like, at least... come together on the baseline shit. I think if we really start approaching, each other as, not the fucking devil and just people who disagree with us, we could really go far in this world, but man. Do not know.
You're awfully quiet today, Shawn. You're just here.
I don't have an opinion.
All right. Fair enough. All right, you guys want to do what did they do? What did he do? What did she do? What did they do? Ready? There it is. What did he do? What did she do? Or what did they do? I will tell you that they did something.
I was gonna say they look like they did something together.
Yeah.
And he looks pretty big. He looks pretty yoked. She looks very cracky.
Cracky. I like that term. That's a good word. We're going to coin that term now.
They obviously didn't adjust their exposure for her picture.
She looks like her name would be something like Summer or Autumn or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, probably. And they did something bad, probably.
Yeah.
Something drug related. It's got to be either meth, crack, or heroin. Something in the...
I think they were trying to run a brothel out of the trunk of their car.
Who was selling the sex, him or her?
A little of both.
A little of both?
Yeah.
A little of both. I'd probably rather have sex with him than her, if I was being honest. He takes care of himself. She doesn't look like she does.
I mean, he's the one getting all the money.
Trunk.
That's fine.
brothel.
I mean, that's why he can take care of himself.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. All the,
He's got a gym membership.
Her hair looks pretty clean for a mugshot.
I mean, she looks...
Yeah, but she's like one of those...
It's the little indent right there.
She's
that's
definitely...
That's the classic meth indent right there.
Yeah, she's definitely a
I want to see her teeth.
streetwalker a little bit. She's
It would say a
definitely
lot.
streetwalking for sure.
What do their hands look like?
All right.
Some drug related. They were peddling drugs and some ass out of a Winco parking lot.
So
Definitely
Stillwater,
Winco.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. A woman and her husband are behind bars, and the headline is, couple arrested after daily use of meth during pregnancy found to be a factor in the baby's death. A woman and her husband are behind bars Thursday after she took meth on a daily basis while pregnant, eventually killing her baby, authorities say. Lana and Kyle Stokes are facing child neglect charges. Police say the mother was still using drugs on the day she went to the hospital. Authorities say the infant, Maverick Stokes, died after 2 hours of being born at the Stillwater Medical Center.
That's terrible.
A medical examiner said that the meth was found to be a contributing factor in the death. Honestly, I would have to say that there was probably some relief on my part, the mother told police when they asked how she felt about losing the baby. I had been put in that position, and it's not fair. I had to be pregnant.
Yikes.
Wait.
That's not what you're saying.
not how it
after
works.
Killing your baby. You're so dumb. Also,
Yeah.
do you know what birth control is, dumb bitch?
And she gets a vote, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That her vote.
Not
is
anymore. She
equal.
doesn't. This is a felony. She doesn't get a vote anymore.
Oh,
But
well,
wait.
now
But
she
fe-
doesn't.
but-
But pre
She
that,
probably had a felony already.
she voted for
I mean,
Hillary. Is what
let's
I'm
be
saying.
realistic.
That's some bullshit.
No, I can tell by their picture they voted for Trump.
Are you kidding me?
I
That
think.
bitch?
They're.
You're
But
telling me they're
she-
the conservative
But
type?
she'll be able to
They're
get
trying to
the
make sure
vote
that their
again.
money
I'm going
is
to tell you
be
right now
not
that they're the
taxed
I
and-
don't give a fuck type, and
Yeah.
they don't give two shits to
they,
vote.
They strike me as
They
the
might vote.
we need all the welfare we can
I
get.
very much
so
doubt
so
it.
we need some socialists.
But they're allowed to, is my point.
Yeah, so
and
are all the people that voted for Trump. What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying dumb people shouldn't be allowed to vote.
Exactly. Like I'm an advocate for fucking some sort of test, mainly an IQ
Qualifications.
test.
Yeah.
You need to
We
have an
know.
IQ of over 120 to
No,
vote.
that'd be perfect for me. 125, 120.
Yes.
Only the smartest of us should be voting. And
'Cause the
not only
average
do you
is
gotta be
100.
smart, you gotta be like,
An average is pretty
well-informed.
stupid.
well, fuck, even we're stupid.
Well, if somebody's not allowed to vote, then they shouldn't have to pay federal taxes either.
that is ridiculous. You still use the roadways. You
If
still
you
use the
still-
parks. You still use.
If you have to pay
everything.
federal road, if you have to pay for the feds, you should be able to vote for the feds.
No,
Plain and simple.
false.
Yeah.
It's a right.
No, it's not right.
It is a right.
It's not a right.
It's not.
Not in my opinion.
Oh, okay. In your opinion, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, well,
Ye
obviously it's a right
uneducated
as far as the
bullshit.
Constitution says, bitch.
Yeah. The
Unless I get to start trumping constitutions, because you white people are in trouble. I'm making you guys slaves immediately.
yes.
Good luck. John said American football. Can you tell me how it works?
Yeah,
Shawn, take this one.
put as many niggas on the field as you can, and you win.
American football. How does it work? Well, there's some goals.
I think you can only put 12 on the field at one time.
Yeah, but you don't have
team.
to have 12.
It's 11.
Oh, 11. Yeah. 12 men in the field is a penalty. You're right.
Yeah.
Monday. Fuck.
Uh,
I'm just thinking you said put as many people in the field as you can at one time, so I'm mentally picturing like 60
I think you
on
probably
80.
saw the 12 behind me.
I need to go back to bed. So, Shawn, that's why
You
you're
guys
taking
even
this
sports ball? I don't even sports ball. What are you guys doing?
There's goals.
one. What is that from?
There's fast
know.
people that run into each
Somebody probably
other.
said it. I probably heard it somewhere.
No.
I'm sure. I didn't make it up.
There's a
I
ball
am-
that
I'm not
flies
that
through the
clever.
air. Sometimes they kick it.
John said, who did you guys vote for? It's irrelevant.
I
'cause
stayed at home in my underwear
was
and
the
jerked off
president.
twice.
I did
One
not
for each.
vote.
One for Hillary and one for Trump. I
didn't
seriously-
Because
vote
my
for either one.
opinion, my vote doesn't matter.
I stayed at home and I watched the End of the World podcast.
I did. I watched that too.
That was really good. Real good. Did you watch that?
I don't remember.
End of the World podcast.
You talk about the
No.
With
the
Joe
com-
Rogan and
yeah,
at
all,
the-
I
at
did
the
not.
all the
last
comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Because
was
they're
a
like,
good one.
either way, it's the end of the fucking
You know what? I
world.
did watch the first half of the Killer Mike podcast, though.
He has a lot of good points.
Killer Mike?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Killer Mike's a G.
And he's for the NRA.
To close his article, authorities said the father helped the mother do drugs, and he said that she would convince him that meth is good for the baby because it has dopamine in it.
Dope.
I mean,
That ain't
She-
really.
Did she really say it because it has dopamine in it?
the father did. Authorities said the father helped the mother to do drugs, and he said that she would convince him that meth is good for the baby because it has dopamine in it.
Are you saying you don't believe that people are so dumb they can convince people that are also dumb of doing equally dumb things?
Here, my pregnant wife with my seed. I'm going to help you take
The
some
stress
meth.
levels she's gonna have if I don't give her the meth is gonna hurt the baby more. So I gotta give her the meth.
Jonan
It
said,
has
I can't
dopamine
name even
in
a
it.
single American football player. Where are you from, Jonan? I mean, that could have a lot to do with why you can or can't name a single football player.
I mean, probably Australia, Europe, anywhere but her.
Her
Anywhere but her.
or Canada.
I mean,
I'm willing to
anywhere
bet
but
that
her.
90% of Canadians can name at least one American football player.
That's what I'm saying. I think anybody on the nation with
And actually, a lot of people in like Europe can too, because we've been putting games in Europe
continent?
for a while.
continent. That's what I was looking for. I was like,
I'm
there's
like-
a word, and I
I'm
know I
trying
didn't
to
use the
think of,
right
like-
one, but as long as nobody calls me on it, it's fine.
I could probably name over 1,000 hockey and football players. I'm from Europe.
Yeah.
See, that explains it. So
It's weird though, because like we've been sending games over there for a while now.
to England, yeah.
To like like
Yeah.
one game a year at least.
And
for a
hockey
while it
and
was like
stuff
two
is
or-
a
2 or
Canadian
3
sport.
now.
They're all
Is it-
Queen related.
Yeah. But didn't hockey originate in France?
I don't
I
know.
thought. I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know much about
I'm
hockey.
guessing.
Do you think niggas know about hockey?
I know
It's
actually
like
Mike
4
Jones
players
does.
ever.
Really?
One of the FunkShop DJs. Yeah, he's a huge hockey fan.
Yeah.
He knows way more about hockey than football.
Yeah, I know the least about hockey.
I played one hockey
Couldn't
game.
even tell you the positions of
terrible.
hockey.
Same as soccer.
Huh?
Same as soccer.
I couldn't tell you those either.
There's like forwards.
Hockey is from
goalie.
Canada. I
There's a
doubt
kicker?
hockey is from
And
Canada.
no
the guy
kicker.
who passes the ball and the guy who
In hockey,
kicks the. I don't know. I'm just saying things.
they don't. I mean,
Do they not in hockey? They don't kick a ball.
no.
What do they?
But sometimes they kick a puck.
I was just say.
But it's
I
more
do
of
actually
like-
know that.
That's the
And
reason.
they're not
like,
supposed to hit each other with the sticks unless it's like below the something, like the penis.
It is not from Canada, Jonan. Shut up.
hockey is from Canada.
No, penis checking or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about it. I know that they can scrap each other.
yeah,
I've
where
seen
where
that.
was hockey
Niggas will
invented?
punch each other in the mouth, and whoever
I'm-
loses goes to the penalty box.
I'm not sure. I don't even know the answer to this one.
Facts do not cease to exist simply because they are ignored. Aldous Leonard Huxley. Ice hockey is a Canadian game. It's as Canadian as the maple leaf. Go west, young man, was the advice of wise men to the youth of the Maritimes as Canada began to develop. They should have added, and don't forget to look back, for had they done so, Canadians wouldn't still be searching for the birthplace of hockey. It would have been obvious that our national winter sport began and developed as the nation did, and in the same direction from east to west. Ice hockey, the fastest and most exciting winter game in the world, got its start on the east coast in Windsor, Nova Scotia. After developing for 75 years in
I've
Nova
been there.
Scotia, it began to spread to the west coast, a trip which was taken an amazing 15 years. Ice hockey was not invented, nor did it start on a certain day of a particular year. It originated around 1800 in Windsor, where the boys of Canada's first college, King's College School, established in 1788, adapted the exciting field game of hurley to the ice of their favorite skating ponds and originated a new winter game, ice hurley. Over a period of decades, ice hurley developed into ice hockey.
Interesting.
A man who is still North America's most quoted author, Thomas Chandelier Halliburton, born in Windsor in 1796, told of King's boys playing hurley on the ice when he was a young student at the school around 1800. This is the earliest reference in English literature of a stickball game being played on ice in Canada. Halliburton, who wrote the first history of Nova Scotia, was the first Canadian to acquire international acclaim as a writer, and the account of his recollection is therefore of great significance.
So it's only a couple hundred years old.
How did Russians get so good at it?
Steroids.
I mean, well, that's given, but
I mean, yeah, when it's a government
And
program and
it's
they
so
pay
cold
you
there,
to
I guess.
be fucked up and get
But,
steroided out and lie and. But what?
hold on.
That was proven.
John said, don't you know anything about hockey? It was invented in Canada, if I remember right. So where was it played for the first time? But we are better than Canada in hockey and USA. From Europe. Russia kicks your ass. Most historians
talking about,
place
like-
the roots of hockey in the chilly chimes of Northern Europe, specifically Great Britain and France, where field hockey was a popular summer sport more than 500 years ago. When the ponds and lakes froze in the winter, it was not unusual for the athletes who fancied that sport to play a version of it on the ice. Not surprisingly, the earliest North American games were played in Canada. British soldiers stationed in Halifax, Nova Scotia, were reported to have organized contests on frozen ponds in and around that city in the early 1870s, and about the same time in Montreal, students from McGill University began facing off against each other down in a downtown ice rink. The continent's first hockey league was said to have been launched in Kingston, Ontario in 1885, and it included 4 teams.
Interesting.
So,
Yet the
specifically
the
Great
best
Britain
players
and
in the
France.
world play here in America,
Is that true?
like slash Canada, because there's
Yeah, I thought it was Canada.
I think
well, most of the NHL is
Can-
U.S.
most of the NHL is U.S. The best players in the world do play in the NHL, but I think it's because the NHL has more money to pay their players than any
for,
other league.
for sure.
Because the best players, even though they play in the NHL, the best NHL players are definitely not American.
I don't know.
Very few.
Now we have to go look up. I don't know. I bet you there's a lot. I guarantee there's a ton of U.S. great players. I mean, we do have cold areas this country too, so
Yeah.
obviously Russia's good at it because they're cold all the damn time.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Same
that
with Canada,
has to-
but
yeah.
but we
Yeah,
but
John said people play in the NHL because the best players and the money is there. That
Yep.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
that's why they play in the NFL too, and the MLB, and pretty much all the major sporting events are by America. Like, we will be the best at sport ball of all kinds.
Okay, so the NHL ranking, I'm going to have to go down and do this individually to find out where they're from. Oh, fucking ad. I'm like, where is that playing from? Oh,
Want to pop up?
numerous ads playing, apparently. There it is. Number 1 player is Sidney Crosby for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he is from Nova Scotia.
I mean, how are we? Is it just is there like a player?
This is
rank
the
or something?
ESPN ranking,
Oh,
top 100. Number
All
2 is
white dudes from cold places.
John Tavares
I bet you there's at least one black dude.
from
Everyone.
Ontario.
From a cold place.
Yeah,
A nigga who made it north.
So number 1 is Nova Scotia. Number 2 is Ontario.
Yup.
Number 3 is Carey Price, Vancouver, British Columbia.
almost you.
Number
So close.
Number 4 is Alex Ovechkin.
Well, that's a Russian, right?
For sure.
But yeah, Moscow.
Yep.
Steven Stamkos
Russian.
plays for Tampa Bay Lightning. Ontario.
Oh, Ontario. Wow.
Yeah. Jonathan Toews,
Oh, that nigga might be American.
or Toews, Winnipeg.
I
Manitoba.
was gonna say Louisiana.
Drew Doughty, Los Angeles Kings.
Definitely
Sounds white.
New Orleans.
London, Ontario.
I mean, it's kind of the New Orleans of Canada.
Number 8 is PK Subban for the Montreal Canadiens.
And I've been to London, Ontario. Been in the hospital.
So it's all
in London,
Canadians.
Toronto.
Yeah, so it's just all Canadians, like we were saying.
Number 9, well, 1 from Moscow. Number 9 is Tyler. Number 9, Tyler Seguin.
Say it again.
Tyler Seguin.
Say it again.
Tyler Seguin.
Say it again.
Ler Seguin.
I'm gonna start
Brampton, Ontario. Wonder if that's like their Compton. Number 10, Eric Carlson. The
Brampton.
Carlson is Karlsson. I'm not even going to look where he's from. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say he's like Finland or Carlson. Landsborough, Sweden. Number 11, Evgeny Malkin.
Oh my lord. Yeah, so Russian, Ukrainian, Slavic, something.
Magnitogorsk, USSR.
What's interesting though, if you like watch the Olympics, It
Wait,
seems to.
USSR?
It seems like for the last
That's what it says.
Didn't they fall?
50,
That's
Did
what
we
I
go
thought.
back in time?
That's what I thought.
50, 60 years, like
I
it's,
am from
it's
the
been
USSR.
three countries that dominate the Olympics in hockey. Has
John
been-
said that ranking is high or really old.
So it's always been Russia, Canada, or the USA in the finals for the last 50, 60 years in the Olympics.
Olympic hockey is shit nowadays. Russians are
Russian
shit.
shit.
Okay.
I
They're
mean,
gonna-
it changes
They're
all
good
the
at a lot
time.
of
I'm
things,
talking
though.
about
They're
like
good at wrestling. They're good at hockey.
the next
they're
one
good
is
at-
Henrik Lundqvist. 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 Where's he from? Henrik. Henrik. Lundqvist. Lundqvist.
Hungary.
It sounds like a German name.
Sweden.
almost. Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Next one is Jamie Benn. Benn.
Bam.
Jamie Benn.
That could be an American, maybe. First one on the board, maybe.
British Columbia.
BC.
We're down to 14. I'm going to keep going until I find an American. 14 is Duncan Keith.
I think we're gonna be going for a while. Toronto.
Winnipeg, Manitoba. The next one is Anze Kopitar.
Russia.
Yeah.
Close. It's not USSR, though.
Ukraine.
Oh, even closer.
I don't know all the countries. over there.
Yugoslavia.
Same thing.
Yeah, U.S. and Mexico are the same thing, too. 16 is Shea
Close.
Weber.
Yeah, since we don't got a fucking border wall. What up?
God
Oh,
damn
God
it.
damn it. Shea Weber. Where's Shea Weber from?
We don't have any mic. We only have 3 working mics. Sorry.
All right, I'm out, thanks.
Yeah, that's got to be like a Toronto as well, like a Winnipeg,
British Columbia.
DC.
Claude Giroux.
That's like French. That might be Vancouver or something, right?
Yeah.
Ontario.
Ontario.
Or
Yeah.
I'll just say Quebec. That's French area.
Number 18, Vladimir Tarasenko.
Russian.
Right?
Russian.
You guys are so unoriginal, man.
Vladimir, he's got it.
Yaroslavl, USSR.
Dude, so I need to understand
Why it's
I thought
why
the
they're calling it.
USSR
It might
was-
be a hockey thing.
maybe, but I just
Yeah.
maybe they're coming back. Like I don't know.
Has didn't we stop calling it the USSR after the Cold War?
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too. The next one is Pekkarini. Pekkarini.
Perini?
Pekkarini.
Yeah, that I don't know.
Finland.
Okay.
Are you gonna go sit down or what?
I didn't know if he's taking not that chair. I get the green mic?
You think you're sitting in front of the
or
fucking
yellow.
board?
Yeah, either one.
Jesus, you show up on average once like 0.75 of a month, and you think that you can sit behind the soundboard?
Why not?
Whose car alarm is going off? Did you sit on your keys?
Here, I might want to scoot you over just a little.
Oh, he can widen it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can pull it
No,
back.
seriously, whose car alarm is
I
going
don't
off?
know. It's not mine.
No one's here. None of us have car alarms, I don't think.
I mean, I do, but it shouldn't be going off. Hold on, I'll look.
I don't think it's mine.
All right, it stopped.
All right, what number are we on? Hold on, I gotta look. Number 20. Oliver Ekman Larson.
He's U.S.
Larson.
No.
He's a U.S.
That-
born
that-
hockey
that
player.
could be a
No.
US then.
These are all hockey players, ding dong.
I know, but I think he's a U.S.
Welcome to
born.
the conversation. We're going through the list of top 100 hockey players until we find somebody that's from America.
He might be America, if not BC.
Karl Skrona, Sweden. Next one is Ryan Getzlaff. Dude, I cannot see this town without thinking of that movie. I can't say it right now because it's
The
gonna
Mighty
give it
Duck
away.
movie?
No.
Flying V?
That's definitely Russian. I
Number
would say.
21, Ryan Getzlaff.
Russia.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
The movie we talked about the other day, the grown-ups or whatever. Every time I see Saskatchewan, I think of that real ripped dude that has a super high-pitched voice that all the girls laugh at. I'm from Saskatchewan. The next one is Mark Giordano.
French, Canadian.
Number 22, Mark Giordano.
Quebec, probably.
French is correct, but he's not from France.
Quebec.
Doot, doot. John said they're looking
Montreal or
at rankings from
Quebec,
5 years
probably.
behind.
Could be from Quebec or something like
Montreal, Quebec,
Ontario.
that. Ontario.
Ontario.
This is top 100 rankings on ESPN.com. So you guys can say however old it is you want. I don't give two shits because it's hockey and I don't care about hockey. We're just having a conversation. So we're not talking about news all the time. The next one is Jonathan Quick.
Could that be the first?
First, is he from Boston?
Number 23, Jonathan Quick, playing
Boston,
for the
is he
Los
from-
Angeles Kings.
Is he originally from Massachusetts?
No.
Minnesota.
No.
He's not from the U.S. then.
Victoria,
Yes.
Canada?
He is from the U.S.
Is he from U.S.? Okay.
He is our
Okay, so
US.
let's say
Like
hockey.
right out.
Michigan is a New England state. Is it an East Coast or New England state?
Is
Where
it
is he
bigger than a
from?
bread box?
I'm
He's
guessing
from Milford, Connecticut.
New England state, definitely.
Milford, Connecticut.
All right. There we go.
So
Took
we
us
got-
23, huh?
We had to get to number 23 to find one from America.
So about only maybe 4 out of 100 are
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Very
don't
low
think you have
percentage.
enough data to make that conclusion, but sure.
I'm not going to continue going. Shawn, do you want me to continue going through
No.
top 100?
It's pretty fucking boring.
It is boring. Hockey's boring to me.
Super
Shawn,
Bowl
what
must-
isn't boring to
Hockey's
you,
like
though?
watching soccer.
Oh,
Boring
you know
as
what's funny?
fuck.
You
Well,
want
at
to
I know
hear?
what's
least
exciting.
Hey,
you
you
get
wanna hear
real
something
fights,
funny?
though, in
Shawn likes
hockey.
extra dimensional stuff or like eighth dimensional planes.
You guys want to
I
hear
know he
something really
likes,
funny?
Space related things. I know he likes science related stuff. As long as it's not politics. Pretty much.
This report, even though I did a Yahoo search for it, this shows why people shouldn't use Yahoo to search.
We should be talking about 9/11 too.
Because I looked up the top hockey players and
It was an inside job, bro.
You ever seen
we
what's
can't
that?
talk about that
the
every fucking
conspiracy
day.
thing?
This report came out
that
October
website?
27th,
Yeah.
2015.
I've seen all the conspiracy.
So you're right,
theories.
Jonan.
You're like, wow.
And Big T. It is definitely an old list.
You
Why
hear
it popped
explosions
up is the
afterwards.
first
There's
search on
some
Yahoo.
that seem like it.
That's why Yahoo search.
You can make anything. You can make the clouds look like Bin Laden. Like,
So you're right. It
you
is an
know?
old list.
I've heard everything, including people think that the planes that hit the Twin Towers were fake. I've
yeah.
Oh
heard
my God.
every.
Back to this again.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
I find it
is this-
fascinating.
Are
Do
we,
you not?
No, I do. But are we going to talk about this every fucking episode?
No, we didn't talk about it last episode.
Or the one before we didn't talk about either.
Yeah.
Big T said, "Can we talk about chicken strips again?" I like that talk.
Oh, can we?
That was a
too?
good talk.
Yeah, chicken strips are dope.
I'm definitely going to go get some today.
So what you're saying is you think the planes were real?
They were chicken strips.
They were chicken strips.
Mom
They
said
use chicken
hockey is
strips
one
as
of
an
those games
overlay.
that can't really be appreciated until you go to a live match. Like auto racing, you don't get any concept of the speed. I went to Winterhawks games when I was younger.
I wouldn't go
I
Still.
played
either.
one game of hockey on ice. Terrible at
And
it.
then your knees and hips and
I
everything
can't
hurt when you
skate
fell.
for shit on ice.
No, I just didn't have like. It was a pickup game, or it was a league game. When I lived in Canada, and they were short a player, and my girlfriend's brother played on the team, and they needed another player. So.
So you went and destroyed your knees and
I-
your hips. And
I didn't get hurt, but I just got
Goalpost
slammed
all the way.
into every wall possible. It was like, like tackle practice in football, where especially when you're like a sophomore or something, and playing with the
so you're
varsity.
treating it like lacrosse and not hockey. Is what
Yeah,
you're
you're
saying?
just getting smashed, and
You're
just
tackling
like,
dummy, basically, what you're trying to say.
yeah, I'm just trying to get in the way, trying to block people,
That makes
Just getting
sense.
ran over.
getting penalties thrown on me for things I didn't know that was in the rules.
So how does the fighting thing work? Because I heard if you fight somebody and you win, they go to the penalty box. So I would just be training my boxing.
Usually it's both, but I'm not
Hey,
100%
boxing, why
sure.
not? Like,
I mean, if
Muay
if
Thai?
it's you win and they get penalized, I'd be
No, I
whooping
think you get-
everybody's ass. They all be in the penalty box just looking at me like,
Everything's
I'm
fun,
out.
funner when your team
No.
is doing well.
You get like 2 minutes for instigating, even though
oh,
you don't have to fight, but if you instigate,
yeah.
because like let's say you're the captain, you're the star, you instigate it, but the big defenseman fights your fights for you because that's what happens in hockey, right? You get your fighters that fight your battles if you're like the Gretzky's, right? But if you instigate, you get 2 minutes, and then you get 5 minutes, for fighting typically.
John and Seb both go to the penalty box. 5
Yeah.
minutes.
So is it like whoever wins gets less time or something?
No,
it
it's
just doesn't matter.
I just love the fact that when a fight's about to happen, they drop their gloves and they circle up.
Circle around. They're
The
like,
refs
"Alright."
are like they're boxing referees.
Yeah.
They become Mills Lane all of a sudden. Or Big John
Doesn't
McCarthy.
make any sense.
I love it.
Wonder how much they get paid for it.
That nigga was talking shit.
Yeah. Well, he said
Jesus,
talking
we have
shit.
8 skipped frames.
Talking shit will get you hit. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Oh, the best time to watch hockey, though, I don't watch a lot of hockey, but the best time is the Stanley Cup playoffs when there is a 3-goal lead in the third and final period. Because that's when they quit playing hockey and start playing MMA.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome.
They never play MMA.
Well, they start fighting because they are trying to hurt each other at that point.
Their
They don't
fighting
care.
is pretty terrible. Let's be honest. Like, no one's really getting hurt from a hockey fight.
No, they do actually. Do you remember John
Not
Baduke?
really.
Remember back in the day, Paul? John Baduke, his last name was spelled Bad Duke.
Yeah.
He was the fighter for the Winterhawks. And everyone would go
Yeah,
there
yeah.
just to see John Baduke fight. And that guy could scrap.
But nobody's like ending their career because they got in a hockey fight.
No, that's only
No,
if they use a stick and kick
Not
someone's
even
head
like,
off.
and usually they're not even like out a game after a hockey. Like nothing happens in a hockey fight.
No,
It's
they'll
pointless.
get a few bruises and a bloody nose and lip.
Yeah, that's
here
my
and there.
point. No one gets hurt.
What up,
It's
Dad?
pointless.
What up, Duane?
There have been people knocked out though. Hey, Dwayne.
It's good.
There have been people that have been hurt though, and if you hit your head, in a hockey fight, you get your head slammed into the ice. You're out. You're out cold. It happens. Not very often, but it does happen.
Fighting in hockey is the real shit.
Oh come on, you get more hurt in a
This is the
hockey fight than a
worst.
football fight.
Oh, absolutely.
You get more hurt in an NBA fight
Well,
than
nobody's
than
disputing that.
I've been in football fights. No one gets hurt. You just grab each other's face mask and go down, and then the coaches separate you. That's all you do.
If you want to watch
don't know, I've been
fighting,
kicked
go
in the
watch
cleat.
fighting.
In the fucking stomach, in the bottom of a pile, and that was not very nice.
Baseball fights can be interesting because there's a whole bunch of people and there's a bunch of sucker punches that happen.
There's no baseball fight that will ever be like Robin Ventura charging Nolan Ryan.
No, there
Ever.
isn't. The old man got him in a
Ever.
Texas headlock and pounded the shit out of him.
You remember that, Shawn?
We should bring it up. Can we bring
I
it
do
up?
remember that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Definitely is still
I
up.
can look it up.
It's
I mean,
pretty unfortunate.
the Jose Batista, he got his bell rung. He's sliding into second. Batista, when he was with the, I don't know if he's still with the Blue Jays, but he was sliding in second against Texas.
Pico got knocked the fuck out yesterday, a couple days ago.
Who's Pico?
Pico de Gallo.
Pacquiao?
Not UFC fighter, a Bellator fighter. He was like, he was slated as like the next great thing.
All right, here we go. And here's a pitch from Ryan.
Oh, that was the back of his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, come on, boy. Come on. Wham! 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 Wham!
He got
Just-
about 3 good ones in, maybe 4 at the most.
I think
It's
you
a
got
great way
5,
to get your
dude.
pitcher's arm broken.
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan didn't care, dude. Nolan
Ryan was like 45 years
Man.
old.
No, it's more. I'm talking about like all the other people running up.
He had
on him.
20 years on
yeah.
Ventura, let's say.
And Nolan Ryan is an Iron Man. Like, he's a real American
Look how
cowboy. He
young-
does not
No,
care.
he is a cowboy. He's a real Texas cowboy, man.
The umpires are just like, let's sit here and watch this.
And Ventura's like, trying to
Roam
like,
around.
I need an excuse real quick. I need to hide. Like, I mean, there was no blood drawn or anything.
No.
But the fact that he got him in that headlock,
Pointless.
old
Look, it's the
man Ryan, man.
Old man Nolan Ryan.
Oh, he's wiping. He's licking his wounds a little bit. I mean, no blood, but he felt it.
And did you notice, like, I was a huge baseball fan when that happened. And after this fight, Robin Ventura's career kind of just went down the toilet.
I mean,
Did you realize that? Like,
I didn't know he really ever had a career.
he was a great rookie, second season, third season. He was a great ball player.
oh, yeah, Roger McDowell in that picture.
But I think mentally, like, everybody picked on him for getting beat up by the old man so much that mentally it fucked him up.
Right.
That receding hairline, and you get socked up a
Yeah,
couple times.
look, and then they get at it again because they're just jawing at each other.
Look, you got the gambler in there, Kenny Rogers, in that shot.
Wait, is
Is that Frank?
Was that Bo Jackson?
Frank Thomas?
No,
Frank
Bo. I
Thomas.
don't. Oh, he played for the
No.
Sox for a little. Bo. I don't think Bo.
Bo
was
didn't
in
play
that.
for the Sox.
He didn't.
Who
No,
played
Kansas
for-
City Royals.
Oh, yeah,
Steve Sachs though. You got Steve Sachs in there.
Steve Sachs is old as shit. Wasn't he a pitching coach in this time?
I don't know, man. I didn't know he played. Maybe that was like one of his last. Who's this guy again?
I don't know,
He got worse than
Yeah, he
anyone.
did. I think he's a coach. Oh, Hatcher, Mickey Hatcher. He was the pitching coach.
How'd you come out the worst?
I know you weren't even in the main event.
I was
and
just
you got
trying to
beat
break
up.
it up. I caught an elbow.
Like Nolan Ryan's still tugging his shirt. He's like, "Who wants some more? Let's do this."
He got treated like, oh my god,
That
like,
does look
he,
like Bo.
he got Van Gundy
Yeah, it does
Did
in
Bo
that
play
one.
for the White Sox?
I'll just say
I don't
that-
remember Bo ever playing for the White Sox. I thought he only played for Kansas City.
I think he played a year for the Sox. We have to look that one up though.
Yeah, so did Michael Jordan. We all know how that worked out.
Number 45, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Twitch viewer count is still.
Yeah, it says
way
Jackson on the back of his shirt.
off. Okay, so it was Bo.
Is it number 8? If it's number 8, it's Bo.
No, I don't think there's any other black Jackson that looks like Bo Jackson. I mean,
There ain't anyone that looks like Bo Jackson. Period.
pretty distinguishable.
Man, if he never had his hip pointer, man. Did we talk about that?
He didn't have a hip pointer, bro.
Well, whatever his injury that took him out,
Separated hip.
the separated hip. I thought it was a hip pointer, which is. pretty
He had
devastating.
he had an entirely new hip built.
Okay.
The big difference.
Hip replacement.
Hip pointer, you're back next week.
Moving right along, you guys ready for another What Did They Do?
Oh, fuck yeah. These are too easy.
My
Give me a
favorite
challenging one.
segment.
All right. You might have a hard time with this one.
I will see.
All right. Did you say it's your favorite segment?
Yes.
What did she do?
Oh,
Meth.
man.
I know.
Definitely meth.
Oh, I know what she
Doesn't
did.
look methy.
I know what she did.
She's an old lady.
She had sex with a 16-year-old boy.
No,
Okay.
no.
No, I know what she did. I know what she did.
Come on, pick one and stick with it so
here's
everybody
no,
else
I got
can
it.
talk.
No, I
you
remember.
fuck.
Okay, I got it. Focus on me.
Jesus,
for-
Anthony.
Okay, she won the
We
lottery.
understand it's your podcast, but can you share some microphone time with everybody else?
Okay, I get it. It is my podcast for this moment in time. Okay, this lady won the lottery, right? She won the lottery and she quit her job and she shit on her boss's desk. Am I right?
That is not her.
Oh, that's not
That
her?
really happened, but that's not
Okay,
the
I
chick.
thought that was right.
That chick was quite a bit younger, looking at least.
Yeah, no. If you did that, you would be smiling. You wouldn't be frowning.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Because
she's
you wouldn't
frowning,
care
and she's
about
kinda
going to jail
slumped
for a couple
over.
of days.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Defecating on her boss's desk.
It'd be like
Fuck
totally
you,
worth
I'm
it. I say she was crocheting condoms and
Someone got
convincing people to use her crocheted condoms.
because they're reusable, they're washable.
Yeah, and
You know how to recycle a condom?
and she
Wash it.
Turn it inside
bleach.
out and shake the fuck out of it.
Nice.
yeah, she was crocheting condoms. That's-
Crocheting condoms. Tom, you said she had sex with a minor.
I think she was running a brothel out of her house, but she's the cat
Not,
lady.
just not her trunk.
And so she was
Cat
running
lady
a cat
brothel.
brothel. And yeah, she got caught when the cop came in and started using a Q-tip on the cat. And
You know, we're going to give you 1 point because you did relate an animal in this one, but you don't get your full 10 points like you usually do.
But I'm gonna say it was involving Twitch too. She got-
she live streamed the whole thing.
Sean, you get 0 points. Tom, you get 0 points.
I get 0 points. She did not take a juice.
The headline is North Carolina woman charged with starving 22 horses to death.
what
A Cary woman has been arrested in connection with the deaths of 22 horses and a dog who were found dead in southern Wake County last week. Janet Elaine Levine Burleson, 64, has been charged with 24 counts animal cruelty. The Wake County Sheriff's Office said news tips from the public and from Burleson County family members, or Burleson's family members, helped them determine that she was the one who owned and had brought the horses to the property sometime during the past summer, but then stopped caring for them a few months ago. Burleson of Crossroads Boulevard in Cary was being held under a $250,000 secured bond.
Damn. Well, that's less sexy than I
Wait a
thought.
minute, this
kind of like
can't.
a horse brothel.
She had that. That's how they died. They got fucked to death.
Dude, I'm reading headlines now and I'm thinking this cannot be true, but it's literally on KATU on your side, who we beat to a news story last week, by the way.
Nice. They need to catch up, Scrubs.
The Pringles prostitute.
Yeah.
They just posted that. they just
posted that.
They just posted that like yesterday.
Bro, catch up.
All right, guys, we're on to another one. What did he do?
Oh,
Capital T.
this isn't his mugshot though.
No, this is not his mugshot.
Is this a court appearance?
What?
Possibly.
Is this another? What did you do?
What did he do?
Or I mean, with those facial tattoos, something.
Dude, even his hairline is tattooed.
I can see that he has like things in his
Yeah,
head.
I'm thinking
You
he's
see
a.
that?
I
That's
think
a
he's a
tattoo line.
babysitter.
He's definitely gangster, chillo.
He's got 2 tears,
So
so he's murked at least 2 cats in jail.
I'm thinking he's a babysitter.
He murdered somebody, and it might have been drug related, but I don't know. It might have just been a simple robbery, just because he has that. Well,
Here we go again.
that nigga wouldn't have lived.
I think he robbed like a movie theater.
I think
I
he,
want to say like a
I
minute
think
mark.
he
Okay.
flashed in elementary school.
Like
Yeah, he probably,
showed his
yeah, he
peen
probably flashed
to the
someone.
playground.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
he's probably the first foundation for like the homeless Hispanic
Attempted
kid.
murder.
You
'cause
know,
the
Man
nigga lived.
accused of. God, this is.
a little disturbing.
Man accused of barbecuing victims' remains after brutal beating to death
God.
found not guilty.
Did he put barbecue sauce on them?
San Antonio, a man who stood
Holy
trial
shit,
twice on charges that he beat a man to death before dismembering him and burning his remains in a barbecue pit was found not guilty on Wednesday.
I hope he doesn't own
Gabriel Moreno was accused of killing Jose Luis Menchaca in 2014 during a violent struggle, which Menchaca was beaten to death with a baseball bat. This was Moreno's second trial on murder charges. The first ended with a deadlocked jury back in March. Witnesses testified against Moreno during the trial that he and another man ambushed Menchaca in the back bedroom of a home in Hillwood. The other man, Daniel Lopez, was convicted earlier this year and sentenced to life in prison. A third person accused in Menchaca's murder, Candy Dominguez, pleaded guilty and is awaiting sentencing.
Did they do fajitas like they did with that foot?
Oh, this is
Yeah.
The foot fajitas?
glad I have not ate yet.
I hope not.
I mean, I'm hungry.
I'm not hungry no more.
Wow.
So did they just cook them? They didn't actually eat them though.
They
didn't cannibalize.
tried to burn his body in a barbecue pit. So yeah, it wasn't like they were like, "Hey, put
They're
some
probably
sauce
trying
on the
to
buns."
destroy him.
I can't believe this is so easy today. It's Monday. Mondays aren't supposed to be that easy. What did she do?
Oh,
Oh my
damn.
god, she ate the barbecue feet from Jose Menendez or whatever.
She smoked so much
Oh my
crack.
god,
She
What
went
is wrong
back
with
in
her-
time.
what is wrong with her eyelid? Oh my goodness.
Nigga.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
know she
I
did
can't
not
make
like
this shit
start something. She did not. She's not the head of some big philanthropy. I can tell you that much.
How much
did not
crack
do-
did this bitch do?
Yeah. Let me guess. She responded to the ad in Miami, Florida, Dade County that said, "Hey, you may have fake crack out there that can be harmful. Please bring your crack to us, and we will test it for you." She's the one person that got suckered into
She's
that
the one
police ad.
person that showed up to have her meth tested.
Her meth
Yeah.
tested. Yeah, there's been some false, fake meth. So we're here at the Dade County Sheriff's Office. We're going to go and test your meth to make sure it is legitimate.
Yeah.
And she replied to that ad. Am I close? Because look at that.
No, Big T, I'm with you, and that's why we will never ever host or raid any of those fakes.
Nope.
Ever. Big T said, next topic, ASMR. Have you seen or watched those chicks do this on Twitch, half naked? This is why streamers like us don't get viewers. They're watching ASMR chicks. At the same time, though, we have to say that it's those thirsty fucks that are watching those channels. We don't really need them on our channels anyways.
Hey, can you send me a link?
I do.
Sure.
Niggas who watch porn. can come watch me
Twitch.tv
too.
/FunkShop TV. It's the same thing. It never changes.
Okay, so I can just send the one from previous out. Okay.
Twitch.tv /FunkShop
So
TV.
she was definitely doing crack with the kid she was babysitting. Is what my guess is. Like they were smoking crack together when the mom walked in.
I'm guessing she killed somebody from FetLife because they weren't as good looking as their pictures. She was mad about their filters, and she has really high standards for.
She hallucinated her imaginary friend, killed them, and then went and turned herself in jail.
Yeah, and like
for killing her imaginary friend.
And like
she was sending
she
out
thinks she's
pictures of Tyra Banks claiming it was her.
Shut the fuck up. Is that really?
No.
Tyra Banks is like, I'm suing that bitch.
Oh,
You look nothing like me. My eye doesn't do that at all.
I'm just wondering, how is that permanently
How did she get
stuck?
punched that hard in the eye? That's
the-
actually a problem. Like that's happened to people where they've got like kicked in the eye.
That's what your mom tells you when you used to do the weird eyeball
You know what?
thing. And they say your eye will get stuck like that if you do it. Hers
You-
did.
It could be those fake eyelashes though. One of them could just be falling off. Her eyes could be open the same width. One's just, it just looks weird because the eyelash is falling down.
She's The Rock's mom, so she's constantly doing the people's eyebrow.
Oh, she's,
It could be the people's eyebrow.
she's the black Sarah
People's
Huckabee.
eyelash.
Yeah. If you smell what The Rock's mom is cooking.
Sarah Bluckabee. Woman in Ohio accused of pouring hot grease on victim during an argument.
Oh, damn.
A Mount Airy woman was arrested after reportedly pouring hot grease on another woman. Police said 61-year-old Charlene Thompson poured hot grease.
She wrote Popeyes.
Literally
Popeyes.
The police say 61-year-old Charlene Thompson poured hot grease on the victim during an argument Sunday at her home. According to court documents, the victim has several burns on her back and arms, which were visible to officers. Thompson is charged with felonious assault. She is scheduled to be arraigned Wednesday morning.
And so what? She threw the grease back on her eye, and that's what got it swollen and fucked up like that? A little bit of that hot grease.
Just look at all these pictures, man. These people are up to no good. They just all
Oh,
look
yeah.
cracked out, man.
You can tell
All
by
of the
looking at
pictures that you're looking on
somebody
the screen right
what
now?
the fuck they about to do.
You can see their
Look
life
at those
story
three hosts
right
of this
in,
podcast.
right in
They
front
all
of
look
you.
cracked out as fuck.
Nah,
Oh,
we can guess what y'all about to do.
oh yeah?
Yeah,
Then guess what did she do?
prostitution.
Okay.
She's probably a teacher, actually. I feel like she has that smug, like, yeah, I fucked my student, but I'm about to get 3 months look.
Yeah, kind of.
She did.
Does she not? That smug. Either that or she killed her kid and is about to get away with it. She looks just
Was
like
that
her.
called like a prom dumpster baby? Is that one of those cases? Like she had a baby during prom and
What
threw it in
was,
the
what was the
dumpster.
name of the chick who killed her kid? Like stepped on her and put her in a bag and left her in the woods and then went and partied for a month. Who was that chick?
Big T says she looked like that chick who burned herself at the bus stop off 4th Plane back in the day with battery acid. Yeah, I remember.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, Big T, you're local? What the hell? What the hell?
It's not me either.
I know it's not you.
I'm guessing.
Big T said Casey Anthony.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No
what I
clue.
said. That's Casey Anthony's little sister, and they were slam dunking
And
babies.
She was peeing on people.
That's
in
not a
public.
crime. It's not a crime.
If they're not willing to be peed on, absolutely is.
It's not a crime.
She doesn't look
If she
as
peed on you, would you
crazy.
report her? I'd be fucking the shit out of her right afterwards.
Absolutely.
Because if she's peeing on me, she DTF, nigga. I promise.
She's definitely
Well,
DTF. or something.
definitely.
She pees on me, dude. I'm breaking her fucking nose because that's assault, and I'm gonna fucking protect myself.
I mean, I said she could pee on me. I'll pee on her too. We can
Big
pee on
T
each
said
other.
R. Kelly is a black dude, not a white woman.
All right, what's the
Pee
answer?
free.
I have nothing.
You got nothing, Tom?
I mean, not after the crack whore with the one eyelid looking east and west. You know?
The headline is Women accused of putting baby in freezer and closing lid in Tennessee.
It is
wasn't
Casey
far off.
Anthony.
Johnson City,
Holy
Tennessee.
shit.
A woman is behind bars after authorities said she put her 8-month-old baby in a freezer and closed the lid last week in Johnson City. According to court documents, a resident in the 100 block of Poplar Hill Drive saw a woman they didn't know in their backyard standing next to an unused freezer. The resident went outside to talk to her and found her in the crawl space under their home. Authorities said the baby was found in the freezer, which had about an inch of standing water inside. The child was taken to the hospital, but no condition has been released. The suspect has been identified as 19-year-old Brittany Smith. Smith was charged with child abuse and neglect as well as burglary.
Brittany from Tennessee.
What the fuck are
I
you
mean,
That's a
doing?
deliciously white trash
Like I
name
said,
from
you
Tennessee.
can tell
All right.
by the picture damn near everything. Casey Anthony's little
You-
sister. Damn.
I mean, I was not far. Prom dumpster baby. You
Right?
know? Seriously,
Yeah, it wasn't far off.
that's not far off, and the age is just a year off. And the part of the country is about smack dab correct.
How are these crazy bitches allowed to be out here?
And she's allowed to vote.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not
All these
anymore.
people are from Florida and can vote. Their votes matter.
And the father of the baby is a 26-year-old captain in the Air Force.
Right?
Who's proudly served our country for 8 consecutive years at this point, and is being deployed to the Middle East next month.
Fucking Casey Anthony.
No. We can make up stories like, who are the father? Let's build the profile for the father. You know, what do you think the father is? Another 19,
I would have
20
to
years
see the
old.
baby's color to know. Like, I need some
She-
more information.
Yeah, we could play our own Criminal Minds
Yes,
version.
We could build her for.
So we get a
The
whiteboard
baby
with a
is
camera on it.
Latino, so she was inspired by Donald Trump to kill it.
She was making amateur porn while
Destined to
having
be
a meth train
MS-13.
ran
We
on
gotta
her.
kill it.
She had a meth train.
He was
ran on
half
her.
Mexican, so I thought if I put him, in this, it was kind of like a wall. It was a barrier. I didn't know what to do. I was scared.
Speaking of half Mexican, what did they do?
Oh, they jumped the wall.
Or dug a hole?
The one on the left dug the hole. The one on the right.
Anybody who would grow their beard like Shawn already fucked up.
He's trying to be Amish Mexican. He's trying to, he's trying to
He
do
said he
something.
fucked it up.
Yeah.
He's not even doing it right.
He's kind of got the Amish beard.
looks
The
like
Amish
she's
build
trying to grow one,
awesome
too.
cabinets, and the Mexicans build awesome tacos. What does an Amish Mexican build?
Do they both got crooked jaws?
I don't know, but
It
they
looks
make,
like
Taco
it.
cabinet?
It does look like they
I don't know, but they make great fireplaces. Those Amish people, man. It's
Yeah,
quality
that's
built.
what I'm saying. They,
Right from Pennsylvania
She almost looked like she could be Arab, though.
yeah.
or Indian.
Or a Muslim. Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
Like
they
a
just look like
Hindu.
trouble.
indie, yeah.
Well, obviously, if they're both wearing red shirts and got a mugshot, they are trouble. There's something in trouble about this picture.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they could be wrongly accused. They could be, like, it could be like a wholesome.
They went to
family.
blow up a church,
Man,
but
look
then
at Big
they
T.
realized there was a church's chicken once they got inside. And
Big
so,
T is able to pick this shit apart. He said Salt Lake County pictures, so Utah. So Mormon, he pimped her out while she was the third wife to a guy they robbed.
Is that true?
No, but look, you can barely see the Salt Lake County right here.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Big T is like really digging. He's like, I like.
So,
the-
like,
we need to get Big
instead
T
of,
on the
like-
show. Big T's local. We need to start having him as a guest.
instead of like
Right.
instead of like
Investigators.
Bonnie and Clyde, that's like what
The
like
Mexican
like
Bonnie and
like
Clyde.
Rosie and Carlos,
Yeah.
Rosita.
and Carlos, opposed to Bonnie and Clyde, or Bonito and Carlos.
You guys ready? Mother of dead infant admits angrily to beating, scratching, and throwing the baby. Midvale, Utah. Court documents are shedding some light onto a disturbing case that unfolded Friday at Motel 6 in Midvale, Utah. According to documents, the mother of 4-month-old boy, 20-year-old Jessica Mario Luan, severely beat, scratched, and even threw the baby in the time leading up to the infant's death. Luan and the boy's father, 21-year-old Jose Ramirez, are both facing child abuse homicide charges. Luan was seen being escorted by police from the Motel 6 with another child in her arms. Police were first called to room 113 at Motel 6 to complaints that the infant was not breathing and was possibly in cardiac or respiratory arrest. Police say the child had an illness which required him to be on oxygen, which was hooked up to the baby when officers arrived. Meds unsuccessfully tried to revive the child, who was pronounced dead on the scene. The deceased child had several visible external injuries, the probable cause statements against Luan and Ramirez state. The child has bruising on the bridge of his nose going up to his forehead. The child has bruising on the left ocular cavity, bruising on the left forehead going towards the back of the left ear, and bruising on his left cheekbone. The child also has an abrasion or possible laceration on the left side of the child's neck. The child's bone structure is visible on the outside of his person.
Damn.
During the investigation, hey, good looking. Thanks for the host.
Thank Big Titty.
During the investigation, Luan and Ramirez were transported to the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office to be interviewed. Police say that
Got 'em.
Luan admitted to striking the infant during an argument with Ramirez because the child was screaming and she became angry, police said in the court documents. She admitted to striking him several times and scratching him with her fingernails. She then states she placed the child into his car seat upside down. Luan told the police she went to sleep because she was tired, leaving the child in the care of Ramirez. Ramirez told police he witnessed Luan throw the infant into the car seat upside down when he began to care for the child while the child's mother went to sleep. Ramirez said the child then fell asleep and he went to sleep himself. The next morning, Friday, police say Ramirez woke up to find the child unresponsive but did not call 911. Rather, he tried to perform CPR on the baby. Eventually, Luan called 911 but did not speak with anyone. Rather, she set the phone down and left the room. Police say Ramirez then picked up the phone and talked with 911 dispatchers until help arrived on the scene.
So why did he get charged if he actually tried to administer like care, or aid to the kid?
Most likely for not calling 911 immediately when it happened.
Yeah, but
I'm guessing.
I don't. Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like if you came in and you thought like you could save the life, what would be more prudent? Like pick up the phone and call
Right.
immediately, or start trying to administer?
Well, the
first
night
aid?
before.
Oh,
it could be.
Did I miss?
This was
something?
the next day. Yeah, the next morning, Friday, police said Ramirez woke up to find the child unresponsive, but did not call 911.
Okay.
Rather, he tried to perform CPR on the baby.
Yeah, maybe I
So
misunderstood that. I was thinking that
She beat the baby up.
while he was sleeping, or
No, she beat the baby up. Then she went to sleep. He thought he picked the kid up because she put the kid in the baby in the car seat upside down. So he put the kid right side up.
side up, and thought he was okay and had the oxygen on.
And then he began to care for the child while the child's mother went to sleep. Then Ramirez says the child then fell asleep, and then he went to sleep himself. So
he
this
must
all
not have
happened at
thought it
night.
was that severe or
Right.
something. Yeah, I don't know. That's
This all happened at night. She beat the baby up, passed
Racism.
out. He thought he took care of the baby, and the baby was okay.
yeah.
But the baby was unresponsive when he woke up the next morning.
Yeah, so he didn't realize probably the severity of how bad the child was beat or
Right.
something.
Right.
That's sad, man, because that sounds like at least he attempted, so maybe he shouldn't get as severe of a sentence or something.
And he probably won't.
Yeah, but
I mean,
yeah,
we can assume.
that's just strange that he would get arrested if he was at least trying. And I guess it would just be more for negligence, probably, or something like child negligence, or yeah, man, that sucks.
This next story is not a what did they do.
I know, right?
Yeah, Big T said, "Damn, this shit is depressing." That's why I'm trying to move on a little bit. This reminds me of something that Shawn would do.
Probably not.
Masturbate in the woods.
I don't know, dude.
While looking at
There are
people?
woods involved. There are woods involved.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm psychic.
But this
Partial psychic.
definitely feels like something Shawn would do. The headline is
Throwing
Sheriff.
darts at the wall.
According to Sheriff, three-year-old found in woods say he hung out with a bear. Craven County, North Carolina. Authorities in North Carolina say a 3-year-old boy who was missing for 2 days has been found alive and in good health. In a news release Thursday night, FBI spokeswoman Shelley Lynch says Casey Hathaway was found by professional search and rescue crews near Caton, North Carolina. The sheriff said searchers responded to a tip, heard Casey calling for his mother. Greer found him about 50 yards into the woods, entangled in briars. We responded on a tip, located by voice this young man, went to him, disentangled him from the briars he was hung up in, brought him out. Here we are, said Captain Shane Greer with the Chakawinti EMS. He was cold, but he was verbal and command to us. The more we warmed him up, the more active he became. For the conditions, I think he fared pretty well. It's unclear where the 3-year-old was during the 2 days and how he stayed safe. Investigators say there is no sign Casey was abducted and he was wearing the same clothes. Police and Casey told them that he spent 2 days hanging with a bear. Hospital officials say the boy was in good condition and would be released either late Friday or Saturday. Casey's mother said he's already asked if he could watch Netflix. At a press conference late Thursday night, Casey's parents hugged the first responders and thanked them for finding their son. The boy was playing with 2 other children in his grandmother's backyard in Ernle on Tuesday, but didn't come inside with them.
So what do we think, Bigfoot?
Could have been.
That was very long.
And worth it. What if we found Bigfoot, bro? How dare you?
I'm still looking for Bigfoot.
We might have found him
I
while
found
you were
it-
sleeping.
I found a unicorn.
Would you say that was long? Like that was that article too long for you,
It
Tom?
didn't seem very long.
I tuned out because I was sharing our podcast on social media.
It seemed a
Tom
lot
Tom
came
only
longer.
back-
tunes in when it's pertinent to him. You are so fucking.
Self-centered.
Like,
Selfish and
self-centered.
self-centered. Yeah, the book talks about that, page 63 to 65. It's a whole nother story.
What did you just mumble?
Cactus.
Cactus. Unicorn. Shiny things.
You know, if I didn't see the headline already, I would think, what did she do? She hung out with Tom Gisby too long.
Too long. That's probably
Cactus
it.
bitches!
Here's the next one. What did she do, guys?
She sat on a
Big T
cactus.
said yogi. That kid, that 3-year-old found a yogi.
There's a couple
She
things
definitely
that are-
sold it at one point.
Do we have a better picture? Is this all we got?
Right? You down?
Yeah,
Sean,
I
she
know. I
definitely
mean, I could
sold.
probably
She
go
sold
search
it
for a
at
better
one
one,
point.
but at this
No,
point,
it's fine.
She was under $40 hooker though.
I feel like those are painted on eyebrows. And I was trying to see like
penciled.
those creases, like is that like age marks or is that like you've been doing some hard drugs?
Like right here?
Mark? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
that's what you're looking at.
It,
That's
it looks
hard
like
drugs.
some drug marks is what
To be
drugs
I
fair, it
or
is
age.
zoomed in, so it's gonna, you know.
I mean, it's still she's just looking more haggard the farther you go out. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick drug related.
I'm gonna say sex and drugs.
But yeah, it could be sex and drugs, but I would think not sex
Shawn, you
because she
gonna
has
add
a
rock and
smirk
roll
on her
to that?
face. And normally, if it's like sex, she's getting beat up by a John. They're not very happy about that, or the pussy's beat up.
She rolled someone. She tied him up. She pegged him. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with she captured somebody's poodle
She gave a rusty
And-
trombone for $100.
and she dressed up in a gimp suit and pegged the poodle.
Yeah, Peggy was involved though.
Big
She
T said,
strapped one
tried-
on and pegged the shit out of somebody.
Big T says, tried stealing a turkey by sticking it up her dress from Walmart on Thanksgiving.
I mean,
That's-
that's also true.
Sounds pretty
She either
accurate.
shop. Okay, we know one thing for certain. One or two things are for certain. She either shops or shoplifts from Walmart. But definitely Walmart's involved with that lady.
The headline is, deputies find heroin hidden in McMinnville woman's body while booking her into jail. This happened in McMinnville, Oregon. The Yamhill County Sheriff's Office found heroin hidden inside a woman's body while she was being booked into jail. According to the Sheriff's Office, 31-year-old Amber Ann Renee Lane of McMinnville was originally arrested on charges of first-degree theft and possession of heroin.
That bitch
Walmart.
was 30.
Walmart and
31.
heroin.
About 40.
Well, we got Walmart. We got heroin.
During the booking process, Lane was put through the Sheriff's Office body scanner and found an additional gram of heroin in 2 plastic bags inside her.
They do body scans now.
Inside her, so
They don't make
big.
you spread them and cough.
Probably not. People are beginning to
She-
realize there
she
are
forgot how
no
to
free
fake cough.
passes when you try to
She
smuggle
sits up
drugs
back.
into our facility, said Sheriff Tim Svensson. Our body scanner is doing exactly what it intended to do. It's protecting our staff and inmates by catching contraband early in the booking process. Those will be charged and prosecuted. Lane is now facing additional charges for supplying contraband and unlawful possession of heroin. She's being held on $50,000 bail.
I mean, I'm assuming the heroin was shoved up her
Coochie.
Coochie.
either that or
It's
Her
coochie.
asshole.
It's a coochie. For women, it's easy to get out of the coochie. At least that's what I hear.
so
For guys-
I'm not shoving
I
anything
For
up my
guys, I don't
coochies.
think there's a choice.
I shove it up my coochie every time.
Yeah, me
Every
too.
time.
Fact.
I shove it in my pee hole.
I said coochie.
I shove my pee
Jeez.
hole. My urethra.
Jizz.
so uncalled for, Tom.
I know.
60 days in. I just started watching that show. I want to start fucking
That's a good show.
Going to prison?
talking
Peop-
about that show. 'cause
That's
it
a
is
great
the
show.
Greatest thing ever.
It is a
I've
great
ever
show. How about this one? Who said that? Was that who's I can't see that. Nolan Marie. Hey Nolan. Nolan, have you seen the show Beyond Scared Straight?
I mean, yeah, that's old though, right?
But that's good too. That
There's
one
a-
and 60 Days In.
I
60
guess
Days
most
is
of those
real,
people that are on Scared Straight end up just back in prison.
Or they're juveniles and they
Yeah,
basically
and they
shit
end
in
up
their
in prison.
pants.
But
most of them do.
Most of them are ending up back in prison in
Can we
like
do a trailer?
kids that I was just watching something on this yesterday. How what I was watching your Mom's House podcast and they were talking specifically about that show and how like the kids that were like specifically like, oh, they'll be good now, type of
legitimately
thing.
scared straight.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like they're back in prison for like murder and a bunch
yeah.
of crazy
Most of
shit.
kids, when they do like the 6 to a year update on them, they're like, yeah, they're back in
What?
jail, they're in juvenile hall, they're.
A movie trailer?
Can we go to YouTube? Do trailer
No.
for Beyond
No, we cannot.
Muted?
Trailers?
Why would we want to watch a movie trailer if it's muted?
No, it's just a show Beyond Scared Straight. Can we do like a clip?
Why?
Beyond Scared Straight.
Everyone knows what it
Season
is.
1, Episode 1, Diablo.
Niggas. I like seeing niggas get yelled at.
No, this was great though.
personally, But
These girls act all hard, 13, 14 years old, and they definitely have diarrhea in their drawers, like on the way out. There's no two ways about
I
it.
mean, most of the ones I watched.
This is
yeah,
great. I'm
niggas
sorry.
be
No
trying
one's
to
like-
act so
No one's
hard.
like, my son needs to go on that shit.
if I had a
No.
son, he would need it too.
No, your son's not old enough for that yet.
No, He needs love and care and affection.
I'm a little
Just a
disturbed
little
right
bit
now.
of attention goes a long ways, parents. So if you're a parent at home and you're not giving
Well,
your
yeah, there's a couple. Well,
enough
most people
love.
don't even. There's a couple books that
Don't
I
make
recommend that
love
most
to your
people read, anyways, just
Yeah,
for
you
like
love your bro, but you
interpersonal
can't love
relationships,
your bro.
because most people don't understand
can.
that everybody is not them, and other people have other ways of showing affection or receiving affection. And so, the 5 love languages for adult and children, I think everybody should read so they can understand that base concept that certain ways of showing love or receiving love do not work across the board. So some people enjoy things like acts of services. So for you, for your wife or something, she may appreciate when you do the laundry or take out the garbage or show her, you know, in acts of service that you love her. Whereas for you, it may be like physical affection,
Right.
having sex or kissing, hugging, holding. So each person is not going to derive love or affection or caring and feel the same way from certain
There's
actions.
actually tests you could take for that.
Well, yeah,
Well,
and
and
there's
some-
certain classifications.
Some
for
people need all of the above, and that's part of the reason why some people justify cheating, because they're not
Exactly.
getting one aspect from their
Exactly.
significant other, so they
Well,
get it from a different-
understanding those things and having open communication about them, so you can receive
Oh, look,
what
Tom's
you
actually in
need, and
chat.
then-
What?
How about that? Tom's actually in chat.
Son of a bitch! I'm giving him a cactus.
He
There
gets
you
it.
go, get a cactus.
Tom, you get a cactus.
Okay, real quick. Now we're at 5 love languages. This is interesting. Have you guys?
He
are you
hits
guys all
people.
what's yours? Go
Every
ahead.
significant other, I make
D,
them take
What are
that
you talking
test.
about?
Josh, what's your love language? Out of the 5.
My I'm definitely of the like lovey, touchy, feely, affectionate. Like
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know the 5 love languages?
No.
Yeah,
It's a
mine's
super.
physical touch.
There's a test you take that like.
It's
It's
so
pretty
there are 5
simple.
like mine would be acts of kindness would be mine is quality time. I like having
Yeah.
quality time with the
And
person.
then there's
I'm
like
with.
gifts.
gifts,
yes,
and acts of service. And
Yeah. I think most women are
most women are acts of service.
acts of service and like then kind of
Romance,
like
there's
and then there's
also
like a kind of
romance.
up and down depending on
Well,
who
I
they
mean,
are.
and it
All the
makes
time in this
sense if you
romance
go
also.
back to just men and women. Like we knew all these things a long time ago. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus is another good book that like outlines the differences between men and women and like.
Man, I don't want to take this. I have to enter
No,
a
just
bunch of
can
personal
we just
information.
put up like Google image 5 love languages so everyone knows because a lot of more women are familiar with this.
Oh yeah,
And people
like
named
I said,
Tom.
I think it would benefit everybody to just understand those concepts.
And they
'cause most
could
people
and they
don't
could
even
change
realize
and they
that.
can like kind of change a little
Fluctuate
bit
as you-
over time
But
too.
you kind of know what yours is when you're with someone. What is the most important thing to you? What makes you tick in a relationship?
Yeah.
So words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Yeah.
Didn't Josh already say that?
Yeah, I said most of those. I
Most
think
of
I
those.
forgot one of them.
I think we got between me and you, we got them put together.
Yeah.
You 4, me 1. If you're keeping score at home, folks.
Well, I spent like I was saying before, I spent most of my 20s working with kids with behavioral problems and special needs, and so I specialized in kids who had tough lives and were in foster care and stuff, and so I understand fully the most difficult kids and how to work with them efficiently. And as much as people don't like to think about it, is you need to spend quality time is another thing that most kids don't get. Nobody really spends individual time with their kids, sit down and have personal time or personal conversation with them. And for like each kid, you need at least like 1 hour of independent time where you spend talking to them about their day in life and growing and knowledge and trying to impart as much wisdom as you can. And it's hard to do when everybody's working full-time jobs and, kids are at school all day
you
and
for
you
the
got sports
clarification,
programs and you got all kinds of stuff. But I feel like those are the things where you really get a lot of those like quality teaching moments, or you get that opportunity to reinforce habits that you're trying to instill through the rest of the day. And obviously, boys are much tougher than girls in that regard because of testosterone and adrenaline. So I think first and foremost, every boy needs to be in some sort of sports program. And I think all kids do to exert energy and stuff. But especially boys need to be doing some sort of hyper competitive sport so they can get all of that stuff out of their system before they come home.
Let me
and then
interact
they sleep
real quick.
well.
I think sports or anything that has some kind of physical
Competitive
activity.
and
Because maybe the
physical
kid
aspects.
wants to do something like maybe martial arts, which is like isn't a
Exactly.
ball sport, or maybe the kid wants to do some tap dance, ballet,
I don't care what you do,
Yoga,
yoga, tap
yoga,
dance.
something that, or
Yeah.
kids are spending too much damn time inside on their tablets, mobile devices,
Yeah.
on their Xbox 360s and what have you.
Yep.
They need to go back outside and learn how to play a game of hide and go seek and tag.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
simple
yeah,
things.
that kind of stuff too builds like peer interactions and helps you socialize better, you know? And I don't have a problem with kids playing video games and stuff, everything within reason. But
Well, we all did when we were
yeah.
kids, but we also
You need to spend a couple hours doing that, but
Yeah.
you need to also spend a couple hours exercising and a couple hours studying, and
We
it
go
needs
on-
to be a balance.
we go on like hikes in the woods and stuff, like local, because
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we had more wooded area before everything got clear cut and subdivisions were built on. But
Mm.
we just go down the woods, and just mess around, go throw rocks in the pond, go pick up some tadpoles or something,
Yeah. Bike riding was huge when I was a kid. We used to ride all over everywhere.
Yeah.
Do bike jumps and trails and
What, and far?
yeah.
Yeah, I rode to Clackamas once, Clackamas Town Center and back.
As
from
a
my
kid?
house.
Yeah,
As a kid, like
did
junior
miles
high,
and miles.
Yeah.
It didn't
I had like a
matter.
10-speed, like a Peugeot or a Nishiki, one of the two. One got stolen, and it might have been my Nishiki. But I rode it from my house
You gotta
to.
drop a name right. He was such a spoiled little brat.
Yeah,
It was
I-
$200, and
I
that's like
was
a
whatever my
$1,200
mom
bike
could
now.
afford.
$200 is a big deal when you're a kid.
When you're a kid back then in the 80s, sure,
I also have ADHD, and I don't know what the other thing is. Presentation.
Combined presentation.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what combined presentation is, but I also have ADHD, and I am now treated as an adult with Adderall for it to help me focus. And so I am very compassionate and understanding to people who are dealing with that stuff. But a lot of times, you can still mitigate the ADHD symptoms with sports, and that's why I'm such an advocate. Boys, especially boys who have ADHD or have the hyperactivity piece, they probably need to be doing twice as much, to exert the same amount of energy. And so some sort of high, some sort of very competitive, like high intensity sport, a soccer would be great for him because he'd be constantly running. A track and field would be great. I know a lot of people aren't happy with like the CTE right now with football, but I
Right.
personally loved football and wrestling because they force you to exert yourself and hyper competitive.
But let's face it, the CTE, that's for long-term football players that go into collegiate. I mean, I played
but the
I
younger
played
you
5
start,
years.
the more you're prone to. it.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
did the
them-
8th grade to my senior year, and
Same.
I played a lot of minutes, and I mean, people could argue this, but I don't by talking to me once in a while. But that's just me. That's just my personality. I had my bell ring a few times, but I'm still a fully functional human being.
Yeah, I wonder
That's questionable.
what it could be.
Arguably a fully functional human. Arguably, okay, we can get the debate going.
Hyperactive.
Let's
for
define
tomorrow.
fully functional.
Inattentive.
shall
That's
we?
exact. That sounds.
I'm not like a
exactly
fully
me.
functional transsexual.
Hyperactive and inattentive, which is why I take
What,
the
Tom?
Adderall.
I have no idea.
I don't know how I feel about kids in Adderall, and that was one of the reasons, like, why my mom didn't actually prescribe me when I was younger, because we were worried about brain development, because you're could be potentially altering brain chemistry or the way it functions moving forward. Because
You
it's
become
not fully
dependent on it
developed.
too as an adult.
I mean, that's what they say, but I've been taking it for the better part of a year, and I haven't even increased my dosage or anything. I
I've
mean,
decreased
it's-
mine 8
yeah,
years
I was,
later.
I was gonna say I feel like
I wish I, had
pretty
a
much am.
dosage.
I might have some crumbs in my car.
I felt
Adderall crumbs.
Adderall
when I was on it, I felt like I like that.
Like there's some powder
superhero.
from.
I'm
when I
trying to go
break my
natural
Zanny
right
bars in
now, so
half.
bear with me.
Well, there's salts, or at least the ones that I get are salts.
They're
and like
amphetamine
little-
salt combo.
Yeah, salt.
So Big T
granules.
knows Spitfire, by the way.
Oh, where?
Spitfire.
Yeah, he
So
messaged
Big
me.
T, who are you?
Huh?
Do I know you? I know half this town. Do I know you? Do you know me?
Yeah, he messaged
Tom,
me.
nobody knows you anymore.
I asked if I knew Spitfire.
And
You
I'm
were gone for
happy
too
to
long.
announce that too.
You're gone. So the next. Fuck, what did I do?
I like what we're doing with my
Small
name. It's
world,
still-
Big T.
Oh, yeah, Josh, Tom, Biggz.
Oh, I'm
Steve.
not D anymore. Oh no.
He's just Josh.
Yeah, I definitely don't think kids should be taking meds necessarily. That's why, like I said, I didn't when I was young. It's something I would definitely maybe look into once you hit that 25 threshold and your brain is fully developed. But as far as kids go, I would just try to get them in as many sports programs as I could and find some good coaches who are understanding and compassionate, and we'll just work them to death. And then, like I said, also try to spend as much personal time as you can with them and just talk to him and see why, what's going on with him. Because if he's angry and aggressive, there's some underlying thing that is going on. Either he has some sort of issues with his father that are unresolved. I don't know if his biological father's in his life, but that will have a huge thing to do with boys, and hyperaggression is not having a good, solid relationship with their father. So building those sort of fundamental, like, biological connections and making sure that even if, like, you and the biological father aren't together, making sure that both of your connections with the kid are solid, and then making sure that they have a good school program and they're exercising constantly is just going to be massive as far as the hyperactivity we're going.
Bottom line is what my esteemed colleague is trying to say no to drugs. That's what he's saying.
I mean,
the bottom line is saying have good relationships,
Yeah.
get out there.
I'm actually a fan of
Get,
drugs.
get
in
the
right
heartbeat up a little bit, and don't go out that chick with the reverse eyelid.
Yeah, he
eyeball.
doesn't like his dad. Well, that would be my first area is maybe get some counseling going or get some sort of therapy that you could go and sit down and figure out, like start addressing what's going on with his dad. And if there's legitimate reasons why he doesn't like his dad, like I said, I don't know your personal situation or his, but for instance, if like the dad was in jail, you might have a legitimate gripe against your dad. But even still, you should be able to go and voice that opinion and talk about it in an area that's safe and you don't have to feel, bottlenecked. Like I know a lot of people think that they are like an objective ear for people to listen to, like even in a friend setting.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we inject our own like personal whatever values or interest into conversations. And so it's not really an unbiased or unfiltered opinion, whereas if you go and talk to a therapist, it is. And I think we have a lot of really good therapists in town, and I can actually recommend some child therapy places. There's a couple downtown Vancouver I can think of specifically off the top of my head that are really good.
Can I see those keys right there? Are those yours?
Yeah, there's mine.
Can I see that real quick? Hey, Shawn.
Bert,
Hey.
I think.
Those are his keys. Let's go in his car. Let's get some Adderall. You said you want some Adderall here. It's probably in his car. We can score some Adderall right now. Don't be
Nolan-
He really thinks I'd carry my Adderall in my car to be
Nolan
robbed at
said
any
we're
time.
doing essential
We should
oils.
go. It's in here.
Nolan said we're doing essential oils to help with sleep. He wears a lava bracelet at school to help him focus. I want to know how much does a lava bracelet?
I
It's
don't-
probably
I
less
don't
than my
know
gag
what a
ball I
lava
use to sleep at
bracelet
night.
is, but I heard pretty much all those.
We're talking about a little
stones
kid
are-
here, bro.
yeah,
Why you
that-
gotta
I'm sorry.
relate the kid's lava
I'm just
bracelet
saying, like,
to
I
your
use a
gag
gag
ball?
ball to fall asleep at night. I don't know what y'all do, but I use a gag ball to fall asleep at night.
How
else he's not talking
I would
my
be
sleep.
interested to know if he's doing any sports or if he's like active at all, like what his physical daily regimen is for exercise, because I think that's probably going to be like
Why are they not working?
$7.
I like the exclamation point
No, it's on.
JOSH. You know, in Aborigines, the exclamation
Oh, and he
point
sees a
is it's a
psychiatrist
click.
every week at school. That's good. That's
His
perfect.
name is Josh.
Because he should be talking to somebody just so he can, get everything off his chest that he wants.
He worked to 4 viewers.
Nice.
I'm gonna.
We have a
close
lot of viewers.
Streamlabs
How
and
many
try
viewers
to
do you think
open
we
it
have
back
right
up.
now?
According to the
plays on
list, we
ball
have
side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Well, I would
16,
I would
17, 18, 19,
definitely
20,
recommend
21,
maybe doing
21.
something like an after daycare program. They have tons of different sports programs all over Vancouver where you can get them enrolled. And I understand a lot of people are busy, and that it comes down to time and then money. But there's a lot of programs if you're in a financial situation that'll like give you reduced or even free like entry sometimes, or help you with gear for different sports programs. And some of them are as simple as just go drop your kid off, and you can keep doing whatever business stuff you want, like on a tablet or something, or read a book for a couple hours while they're out, basketball, football, baseball. But I really can't stress it enough that I think that especially for boys with ADHD is like a fundamental, it's really a necessity to make sure that that hyperactivity is getting catered to. And I think a lot more times than others,
No,
boys
it's
get
working.
labeled as hyperactive when we're really not. We're just boys. We just have a lot of energy because of testosterone. We're just naturally more energetic and want to move and be creative and touch things, and it's just the nature of the beast. And so
Can I add to what you got, Josh? So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we're living in a day and age where there's a lot of single mothers and fathers out there too.
yeah,
Where I think it's really good, even if you're not on great terms with your with your ex or the mother or the father of your child. Get on the same page
Oh,
for
I
your
know who Big
get on the same page for that child and work
Yeah.
together a plan, because you might be a Monday, Wednesday father, and the mother might be a Tuesday, Thursday, for example.
yeah.
But there might be practice 4 or 5 days a week. Let's figure it out. Parents work together for your kids, because their future's at hand.
Yeah.
If we don't nail these things down as when they're early development as childs, I mean, you're going to be responsible. You start blaming others because your child grows up and you're blaming each other opposed to working together, there might be some issues, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but sometimes, it's hard as parents to look yourself in the mirror and say, look, I wasn't there for my kid, or you know what, we were so caught up in each other's bullshit and drama that we couldn't get on the same page to do what's right for our child. So parents, if you're, part of the majority now these days, a lot of single mothers and fathers out there, get on the same page, man, and get your kids to sports practice. Take turns, do what's right for the child. Put your differences aside just for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think it's dope that, like Nolan's saying, on the weekends, like he goes to the skate park and he plays like a daycare and stuff. He should be doing that also with the sport is the whole thing. Right. I mean, when you say hyperactive, you got to take a step back and think that means your child is different than the normal. Any normal kid may be able to do all the things you just named and exert themselves efficiently. But you have a hyperactive kid, which means you got to do 2 and 3, 4, 5 times as much to drain the same amount of energy sometimes. And which is why some people go the medication route to help like overload their system and essentially like bring it back to base level. And so I don't think I'm necessarily all for that, especially in any case. I think it's a very, very specific case where you need to actually medicate a kid. I think that we just pretty much use it as a crutch now instead of using it as a necessity. And so, like I said, I would challenge Nolan to put him in a full-time sports program, get him doing a Monday, at least 4 times a week, something in addition to doing all the things that he's already doing, all the skate parks on the weekend. And you might be surprised at the huge impact that might make. And once kids are tired, like efficiently tired, and then they start sleeping well and getting their full amount of because kids need slightly more, like 8 to 9 hours. Once they get that like full allotment of sleep, their school starts improving, their relationships start improving. And one of the key factors about sports that a lot of people overlook is the fact that it gives you a community, it teaches you discipline, and then it also gives you something to be proud of, which a lot of boys, especially in the hyperactive realm, who are having behavioral problems at school, they essentially don't have anything to be proud of. And I've been able to turn several kids around with just sports programs alone because they finally have something that they truly feel is theirs, that they control. They have something, they're full control over, and they get to be the star of the show finally. Because every kid's not going to be an A+ student in the classroom, you know what I'm saying? And not that they can't be, but when you're one of the kids who is potentially a natural athlete and you get out there and you start showing it on the field, it all of a sudden breeds all sorts of pride and drive and incentive to then go and do the sports programs. And I can speak to that personally from my own experience. When I was in high school, I was fucking up real bad as far as sports went. And then once I found out that I wasn't going to be able to play sports unless my GPA was over a 2.0, I had
so
to
you were incentivized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I had the pride, or I had the want and drive to get out there on the field because I knew that was where I got a lot of respect and I got a lot of praise. And so in order to get the thing, get the reward, essentially, right, I needed to bust my ass in the classroom.
I want to go back just a second, talk about sleep patterns, sleep cycle. I think it's important for everyone to get their rest, especially kids. But you ever notice, like, if your parents have erratic sleep schedules, chances are the kids will, because they, my parents were night owls, and I'm still a night owl till this day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, having parents to be the examples too, of what, a regular sleep schedule looks like, because it's hard when you're a kid. And my parents did this all the time. They would stay up half the night and you're like hearing the TV going on from the bedroom. You're like,
that's awesome.
What is going on out there? I need to know. So now I'm getting up, Mom, Dad, I can't sleep. And let's hang out and watch TV. And a lot of times they will let me. So to this day, I have a really bad sleep schedule.
Yeah, we all want to sleep all the time. That's getting old. But I'm an advocate of karate, especially. I think that's one of the best.
Like when their kids are fucking up or taking them to karate?
Well, both. I mean, I think karate is just it's good for a lot of reasons. It's going to help
discipline.
you train your body. It's going to teach you discipline. It's going to teach you how to defend yourself.
But also teach you a non-violent way and confidence
Exactly.
to stay out of fights
Confidence, that's the thing. Most people, and it even proves true as we get older in life, most of the people who we see get into physical altercations are the people who know the least amount about fighting.
Right.
They're just big and brutish and have no concepts. Once you
No
learn
self-discipline.
discipline, you know how to control your body, you know how to handle yourself in a fight situation. People who are trained in martial arts, we're some of the calmest individuals you'll ever meet.
Absolutely.
Our demeanors are always relaxed. We're not going to be, and we might
Once
get
you get
hyped
past
over
blue
something,
belt.
but there's not too many situations where I feel like I need to go and assert dominance or be the biggest. I don't have to do any of that because I know that if the time comes, I can handle myself. There's no fear. There's the confidence.
I'm still
aspect
trying to
behind
figure
it.
out what I do with my yellow belt.
Hang it up and cry that it's not a deeper belt.
Exactly. Like, man, I could probably get some color, some dye, you know, throw it in the wash machine with my black and browns and my purples, right? And maybe that yellow belt will become like a brown belt. Throw some, like, Sharpie on some stripes for my degrees.
Like his teacher, the female, me and my mom and other grandma. I mean, having a lot of females in your life, I think, can do some things to you psychologically. Like, I think that because we didn't have a lot of men in our lives growing up, and so I find it as a blessing, honestly, because I feel a lot of times I'm able to connect more emotionally or deeper with people on that level because of being around women, you know, and them kind of teaching those kinds of habits. But at the same time, I think it also can kind of make you a little too soft or make you overly hypersensitive, you know, or hyper reactive to certain situations, which isn't, I think, good either.
I'm a Jedediah. No such thing as too many women in your life.
Yeah, well, if they're all family and you can't hit, yeah, I mean,
I don't think he's talking about family.
no, I mean, she was
I
saying
mean-
she was talking about some family, but also teachers and things. But that's unfortunately the system that we have. There are no elementary school male teachers. There are no middle school teachers. Like the numbers of men in these positions are, you know, minimal. You're going to get 5 to 10% maybe. You only really start encountering men once you get into high school and college territory. And by then, you've pretty much been ingrained with nothing but female behavior, sitting quietly in a classroom. You haven't really got to do any of the, like, male things. And then your aggression gets demonized or characterized as, you know, difficult behavior or ADHD. And then they want to medicate you and sit you in a classroom. And it's not conducive for success. I think that there's different strategies and there's different ways to approach how we teach kids, which is why I think the Waldorf schools are picking up steam. Boys especially need hands-on programs, or need at least those styles of children who learn like that need to be able to have programs and opportunities to learn in a facility that's going to cater to them. Not everybody can just sit and regurgitate information that's written on a whiteboard. That's just not how we should do it. We know one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work across the board for any other subject matter, but education, it does. You know, it seems asinine to me, especially when we have clinical data that proves, especially the majority of boys and then some girls who are more spatially aware,
Duane said,
do better with those kinds of programs. But
just to catch up a little bit, Jedediah said, no such thing as too many women in your life. Nolan said, when you're older, yes, you realize it is better, but he has no men to connect with.
have a good one.
Nolan said, anyways, I got to get into my work to go to my meeting. Thanks for being here, Nolan. Duane said, damn, I wish I was on this morning about this. And then Duane said, I wish I was too. I see what you did there. Tom's out of here.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yep, we'll see you next time.
Tomorrow.
Adios.
Cactuses.
Cacti.
You have to teach me that later. I'm waiting till
Yeah, Tom just took off.
you out of house and home if I stay here.
See ya.
Yeah, we know, Tom. We know.
So how do you feel about the education system right now? I mean,
You talking to me?
yeah.
Shit, that's a segue that we need to get into. Damn it.
I'm like looking to see if anybody won a gift card
Let me
right now. So give me a second.
let me
and
try
I
to
will,
find that article.
I will announce if
Oh,
there
you
is
have an
one.
article for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you probably feel like your daughter's getting a pretty good education in our system right now, right?
She is the little one that I mentor.
Is that not your daughter?
She's not my kid.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, I'm quite pale, and Jessica's quite pale, and
Yeah, I thought
Maya
she had
obviously
some of the
isn't.
Japanese sea features, but I was like,
No, her dad's black.
Megan. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I couldn't tell, but you never know.
Yeah.
My uncle
When
kind of
you-
has some weird features.
When you see her
like
when her
that.
hair's not pinned back, you be like, oh yeah, she black.
Yeah,
She black.
yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
I think we're blessed, honestly, and a lot of people around here take it for granted, because they haven't been in an educational system in other parts of the country, and the fact that we have people at the top of the food chains in our school districts getting paid so much money, while the teachers are getting paid table scraps. That is real troublesome. But as far as the quality of education, I personally think it's one of the best. And Saturday, January 26, 2019, there was an article that was put out by, I believe, the Associated Press, but Wallet Hub did a study, and they concluded Washington has one of the most educated populations in America.
I believe it.
So it says, if you live in Washington, you likely have at least some education beyond high school. Washington is one of the top 10 most educated states, according to a recent Wallet Hub study. The study examined statistics such as share of adults ages 25 and older with certain levels of education, enrolled students in top universities per capita, public high school graduate rate, states with summer learning legislation, and school engagement with students to determine which states were the most educated. Washington is in the top 10, along with education powerhouses like Massachusetts and Maryland. The Evergreen State also ranks third for highest percentage of associate's degree holders or those with some college experience. Wallet Hub also compared its most educated rankings to annual median household income rankings. Generally, states with a more educated population demonstrate a more earning potential. Washington comes into a perfect ratio, 10th for education and 10th for annual median household income. But not all states experience such a direct correlation. Massachusetts, for example, is top for education, but 5th for median household income. New Jersey is 11th for education, but 2nd for median household income. Top 20 most educated populations in America. 20 is Wisconsin, 19 is Kansas, 18 is Montana, 17 is Maine, 16 Delaware, 15 Illinois, 14 Hawaii, 12 New York, 11 New Jersey, 10 Washington, 9 Utah, 8 Minnesota, 7 New Hampshire, 6 Virginia, 5 Colorado, 4 Connecticut, 3 Vermont, 2 Maryland, 1 Massachusetts.
It's crazy.
And I absolutely believe in that believe the results of that article. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'd want to cross-check it, but
Washington
it doesn't
has
sound
some-
like it's you know.
For somebody that hasn't been around a lot, I can understand why they'd be like, yeah, our education sucks here. But when you've been around the country and you just interact with people, you're like, man, I live in a pretty smart area of the United States.
I interact with them online.
That's even worse.
I know.
Duane said, in my opinion, there needs to be more electives for kids. That is absolutely true. But part of the reason why there's not more electives for kids is because people are not getting involved in opening their ballots
No money.
when it comes down to it and approving these budgets.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco just did a really good in-depth thing on the schools, and it's like people are
But
pretty
voting
much
doesn't matter, right?
voting absolutely. Who said that?
People say it all the time. My vote doesn't count. Voting doesn't matter.
That's because they don't. I think we're talking about this because they don't understand the voting system.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Voting is absolutely crucial.
Very much
So one of the biggest reasons why we don't have more electives, and Evergreen, because of their budget, they're cutting out even more electives.
Yeah.
It won't be long before they don't even have a band or choir program.
Well, we
It's
wonder.
sad.
We wonder why we have increasing things like ADHD and autism rates,
Yeah.
while we are lowering the things like PE and certain electives, like
Right.
the physical ones. You know, it's like you wonder if
the-
there's a
or even-
correlation there, or
Or the creative ones. Where's the art
Exactly,
classes?
creative
Where's
arts
the
and-
painting classes?
Yeah,
There was video production when I
self-expression
was in high school. There was an
Yep.
art studio, and we all had to learn airbrushing. And we had students that were putting out pieces of art that were being sold for hundreds of dollars.
wow.
It was nuts. I was able to sell paintings when I was in a commercial art class. But where are those programs now? Where are the trade programs like the wood shop and workshop, metal shop,
Right?
AutoCAD?
Do they even offer those anymore?
Evergreen has the vocational center, skill center,
Yeah.
where they do that
skill
stuff. But in the
stuff,
high schools,
but-
like from what I understand, they don't.
Yeah, I used to do that stuff at Covington. I was
Yeah.
doing workshops.
Yeah,
and,
I
you
did.
know.
I remember when Covington had the
Mr. Sanders.
industry wing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Mr. Sanders, Metal Shop.
Yeah, my nigga.
Yeah.
I know all the Sanders too. Alex and me used to teach, or do our thing together when we were working with special needs kids.
Okay.
Yeah, we were working at Mountain View together in. I'm not gonna say the lady's name. I don't know if I should, but yeah, I mean, we worked together for like a year and a half. Super great guy. Love all the Sanderses. I used to wrestle with him. Like I'd go with Mr. Sanders. He would take like me and Tarl and them like out.
I grew up with Aaron.
Yeah, good guys, man. All of them. Tarl and Alex and man. Too many to name. 72.
I know. There was a ton of kids in that family.
Fucking Baker's dozen just in kids alone. You know,
yeah, I think there were 13 kids in that family.
Yeah.
11 or 13, something like that.
Something ridiculous. And they probably knocked out a couple since then. Who knows?
You know what's funny? When you were asking if mini horses were real, you know why I know for a fact mini horses were real? Because the Sanders used to live on Covington Road.
Yeah.
In a big, old farmhouse-looking house, and their yard had a pony ride in it.
Yeah. I mean, they still do the pony rides, or they were.
They're still doing that shit?
They were a couple years back. Yeah.
They had mini horses.
Yeah, they were down
years
at
ago.
the prairie whatever
Yeah.
thing over there. They were doing pony rides.
Holy shit.
Saw Alex down there. That was a couple years ago. Like
I don't know if
3
I'd
or 4.
recognize any of them if I saw them.
Nigga, you know a Sanders when you see them. They're big and wide as
true.
a house. They're all solid as stone. You can't. They're all redheaded. You know, like they
redhead
just,
with freckles.
Yeah, you know a Sanders when
That's
you see
true.
one. Even the females, they all
That's
look the
true.
same.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're around town
I grew
too,
up
you
in
see
Five
'em.
Corners, so I grew up with the Sanders family and the Fletcher family. And
Yeah.
all of them.
So nobody qualified for any gift cards this week. No, they didn't follow the rules.
Nobody subscribed.
We had subscribers. We had people that commented. We had people.
But nobody
not
subscribed
together.
and commented.
Nobody subscribed. Nobody commented and liked the video. Like, we gotta do all three. It's not or like or dislike, either or. But
Oh yeah.
but just like without even factoring in like or dislike, because I'm just seeing if there is. There's no correlation between a comment and a subscriber. There were subscribers and there was commenters, but none did both. So sorry, no wins this week. Let's go over the rules again.
Again.
On Mondays, I give away Amazon gift card to somebody who subscribes and comments on that week's videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that, Duane.
So
was cut off.
and is this fucking light flickering behind me?
Oh,
It looks like it is on the screen, but every time I look up, it's not doing anything.
It doesn't look like it's flickering on the screen to me.
The exposure keeps right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, there it is.
Like I'm trying to figure out if that. Every time I look at it, it's not working.
I think it's the camera more than anything.
yeah,
Camera's
I
exposure.
didn't restart the computer this morning before we went live.
Is the camera on auto exposure? Is that what's going on? Probably.
Yeah, it always is.
Well, it shouldn't be. It should never be on auto
That's
exposure.
why I asked you if I needed to change anything.
I always told you don't know auto exposure. Auto exposure is bad
When
for
I take
everything.
off auto exposure and when it's on that side of the table, it completely makes it midnight dark.
Well, you adjust the exposure.
Don't be racist.
You adjust the exposure manually, like any camera.
Like any camera. It's a fucking.
Like I'm always the
just have
dick. I'm always the
computer
dick.
games, dude.
I'm always the dickhead.
There's an auto for a reason. I'm not a technical camera and film video guy.
Auto's terrible for everything.
Your audio is terrible for everything. Okay, what do I do with it?
That's rude.
It's not terrible. It's just quiet. It's really good.
It's actually
Once you can hear it.
Super quiet.
it's actually super loud right now.
Is it?
Thank you.
Everybody I talked to said that it was entirely too quiet. They said that they put it on multiple different things, computers and phones, and tried to turn it up as loud as they could, and we're still having trouble hearing us.
Yeah, because something with Twitch and the way I made adjustments. Like all I can do is like adjust as I'm trying to figure it out. Because,
Yeah.
Because something
There's
happens
so-
along the way, and I don't know what's going on.
So,
It sounds
something in the
fine
signal
coming out of
chain.
here. It's something either with Streamlabs or Twitch, somewhere in that signal chain.
Yeah. Well, Biggz could be adjusting like the actual.
Yeah, but
audio
you don't.
level
But
as
you
well.
need, but you don't want.
I don't touch it unless he tells me to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If he's not here, I turn it up a little bit because when he's not here, I'm like, oh, yeah, well, it was a little too loud. Sorry, Shawn.
Yeah.
But Sean's here, I don't touch it unless he tells me to.
Black
Anyway,
people.
nobody won.
So Duane's full comment was, in my opinion, there needs to be more electives for kids. They get diagnosed for things because they don't pay attention. Sometimes it's not that they're not paying attention; it's because their mind isn't stimulated. Kids are way smarter than school tests show.
Yep.
Kids learn differently, and just because a kid doesn't learn the same as another doesn't mean said child has a disability. And I absolutely agree with that.
Yep.
And a lot of that goes back to our pharmaceutical system.
Yeah.
You know, who's gonna guarantee that adults get their medicines? Really, nobody. If it comes down to it, unless you're lucky or you have a good job, which is fortunate. So that's part of being lucky. Mm-hmm. But a child, no matter what, will always have some sort of health care.
I mean, is that
if it's granted? If it's granted by the state, if the paperwork's done, yeah. Now, a child is not going to be denied medication. If the parents can't make enough money to afford it, the state will.
See, I think it would depend on the medication because I've heard about that happening to kids not getting the right medications, especially the way that our Medicare system works. Well, they'll make you go to like a cheaper generic alternative to see if that works first, and then move you up a scale.
Well, that's true. The medication may change accordingly, but.
Well, could you imagine if you had some sort of anti-seizure medicine, but it was super expensive, and then they said just on a whim, like, it's too expensive, you need to try these other 6, and your kid may be having seizures for the next, 6 months while we do these trials.
That's
what I'm saying. But that happens all the time to people, and so it's like...
But it's not... My point is the kid isn't going without anything. A state is a lot quicker to give Adderall to a kid than it is to you.
Oh, trust me, I know.
And
I had to
that's
go
my
through
point. So I guess I didn't
things at that
I didn't
point,
express myself clearly,
which I thought was kind of interesting. They're like, "But are you really ADHD?" And I'm like, "Nigga, I have it documented from the time I'm like 6 on. Look at any I don't have to make this up.
Right.
Talk to me for 2 seconds, and you know I have weird issues and can't stop moving and hyperactivity. It's strange that like now having it and having the comparison, you know, the two different abilities to sit in front of a computer or focus in a classroom, watch a full lecture, things I wasn't able to do before. It's very interesting to see or perceive or think that this is, at least from the way the doctors have explained it, this is closer to what everybody else is living normally. They're just able to focus on task. They're able to sit down and study for an exam, you know, for long periods of time. Whereas, like, I assume Nolan's kid kind of can't. Is it kind of in that same boat that I was in at that point, where they'd give me a homework assignment and say, sit and read this book for 6 hours that you have zero interest in, have zero connection to, and then write an in-depth summary of it. And about 5 minutes in, I'm sleeping. Like my brain would literally shut down to the progress because it hated it so much. And so once you enter,
bro, that camera is now flickering way worse than it was before I took off the auto exposure.
I don't know.
It's definitely not the light because your entire being is. It's like the brightness has some sort of auto filter that's snapping back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know.
You see that? It just flashed. Before it would go like a flash and then kind of dim down. Like that camera's trying to.
Yeah,
something's trying to auto
I've seen
in that
some
camera.
pretty interesting studies where they start taking things and relating them. And when I was working in Evergreen School District, actually had a kid. He was a very fascinating kid. They couldn't get him to learn any basic math, anything. He couldn't even do like 1 + 1 = 2. But then he's sitting in the corner playing Pokemon and explaining everybody how the level up system, how stats work, how it's like. So all we need to do is relate this to something that he actually understands or is interested in. And so I got written into his IEP, Pokemon, which everybody thought was crazy at the time, and they thought was pretty much an excuse to have him playing video games, and kind of like for me to be sitting in the corner playing video games with kids. Or like, this doesn't seem like it's gonna, be functional and work or anything like that. Lo and behold, by the end of the fucking year, this kid can do math better than almost anybody in the class because he understands. He was able to relate all these things to Pokemon. And so once we're talking, multiplication, division, how many Squirtles do you got to take away from the Charmander?
Yeah.
How many do you got to battle to eliminate? Oh, that's easy.
Right.
Because he cares. He's interested. He's slightly vested now.
Right.
And so, like I said, it was easy.
That's part of the reason, and I will admit at 100% that it's my brain, but that's part of the reason why, when it comes to video editing, I have such a hard time. 'Cause I can't stay focused. Like, Shawn could teach me the simplest 5-step process.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to get them mixed up when I have to try to do it on my own. Because it does not interest me at all.
Yeah.
And I know it's something that needs to be done because the assistant needs to be there.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know. Maybe I think a lot of it has to do with my age too. Like I'm at a point in my life where
Don't like learning new tricks.
kind of.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten this far with what I know now. I really want to focus the rest of my life because mentally I'm over the hill. I'm over 40. So I want to focus on the latter half of my life doing what I want to do instead of what I need to do to get to where society thinks I should be.
Well, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with refining your skills. I think that's a lot
I
of
absolutely
things.
agree. And like I said, I admit it's a mental blockade that I'm trying to figure out how to get through. And it's hard.
Yeah.
Unless I'm interested in something, it is really hard to focus on it.
For sure.
I would much rather sit and play Black Ops than watch Joe Rogan.
Well, and that's the problem that we keep coming into with kids, and why I think addressing these things in an honest, manner would be very constructive, and I think help propel just intelligence across the board indefinitely. If we can start relating education to video games or somehow incorporate the two together, it's going to be the game changer, you know what I'm saying? And we've already started to do simple things like that. That's why there's certain websites that I used to use also with kids that would have like small simple games. Tower defense games were another one.
What up, Snoop?
The Monkey Balloon Pop is one of them. It's just a simple tower defense game where you're using basic addition and
I remember
subtraction. Yeah. So this tower costs 5, and so your resources are building, or every time you get a kill, you get 1 coin, and so if there's going to be 25 coming through, I'm going to have 25 coins, and now I'm learning resource management, and I'm learning basic addition and subtraction, and the whole time they're having a fucking blast. They're just popping balloons and have no concept to the fact that they're learning for them advanced addition and subtraction.
Right.
It's just like. And then strategizing and being able to pre-plot with your money and being able to balance your checkbook. Like, all of these are fundamentals that can be taught off of these fun games. And so being able to work with the kids who learn like that, because there's kids who don't like that stuff. There's a lot of girls who pretty much don't like interactive things like that. They would rather sit and listen and talk to somebody.
Snoop, we started with talking about ADHD and attentiveness and figuring out, we got into why there aren't electives in school and why there should be electives in school and ways to keep people focused so they can focus on educating themselves or becoming more educated.
Yes.
So gamification of education is one way.
I mean, we're doing it right now with those brain games. I forget the name of the most famous website, but it's like Brainanium or something, Brainasium. Do you remember that one that they were doing? It's pretty much like neuroplasticity training. Pretty much keep your brain always doing new tasks, learning new things, and essentially be stimulating new neurons to grow. And there's a bunch of different programs for them now, but you essentially...
Brainium,
that's the one.
there's Brainium Studios.
I think that's the one. But yeah, it's essentially
Sudoku, Blackjack.
Yep, bunch of different games. Different games, and it changes them up. And some of them will do like daily challenges. So
This is the first time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, you constantly get a changing array of different games, so it stimulates your brain in different pathways, which, like I said, pretty much allows it to grow just like another muscle. You're stimulating, you're breaking down or firing new pathways and essentially opening up new connections in your brain. So I find it massively fascinating, and I think that things like that can, if nothing else, just at least aid the educational process, if not be a substitute, for the more spatially aware of us. I just think that, yet again, one of those things where we used to kind of like specialize or see where people are going and then kind of curtail for that specific task. What's the point of dumping a bunch of resources into a specific area for a kid who's not going to listen or absorb any of it? Kind of like we were talking about with you and what, doing editing. What's the point of dumping a bunch of resources into that when you're massively interested in DJing and doing podcasting and stuff? Why not pour all of your energy into that and get the most out of that? Maybe better than anybody because you love it and you're passionate and you care about it.
Right. But at the same token, I know that certain aspects need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to force myself if we want to be fruitful and multiply.
But why?
With this effort,
When we have people who are passionate about it, like Shawn, who's actually passionate about editing and interested and in
because
depth and thoughtful.
Sean's getting sick of it. I know.
Well,
and
I was saying in general, if everybody specialized into something, everybody would be an expert at something and then be happy about it.
Another part of my problem in life is that I've always tried to overcompensate, knowing that other people are going to undercompensate, knowing that people are going to underachieve. I would always try to do way more, pile way more on my personal plate to take on way more than I should.
Yeah. Well, that's a good leader knows how to delegate tasks and offload to help him maximize his resource load.
I'm a horrible leader.
Well, I'm just saying to maximize, even if you're trying to be a mid-tier, whatever, just learning to advance yourself and then, like I said, delegate tasks so you can maximize your workload.
I used to run a street team of about 90 people all over the Northwest.
Yeah.
15 years ago, it was easy for me.
Yeah.
Real easy. But I was a motivator. And it just seems like over the last 15 years alone, not only is it hard to motivate other people, it's hard to motivate myself. We've become a society that is just unmotivational, period.
Yeah, yeah. We're lazy.
It's nuts. And a lot of it has to do with social media.
Well, everybody
so
expects
entrenched.
Be the
I'm not
next big
lazy.
star and just, walk around with a camera all day and make $10 billion,
Right.
And it's like, that's not how it works. And even
Or
if
everybody
it is,
wants something for free.
Yeah, do you think that you're interesting enough or you're providing enough value that it warrants whatever?
Well,
like,
that's a huge thing. We could spend hours talking about that just on what I've realized over Twitch alone since we've started doing this podcast on the Twitch platform.
Mm-hmm.
So many people whine about nobody's watching me or I can't get followers, but
They never
you go to
reach
the
out,
chat,
they
they
never
never
network.
talk.
Yeah.
You never hear them like anybody can go watch anybody play a video game.
Yeah.
Anybody. What's going to give somebody a reason to come and pay attention to your video game versus
Exactly.
the other 5,000 people that are playing Fortnite right now?
Yup.
It's nuts. And people feel like they're so entitled, like just because and maybe it's the field of dreams syndrome. If I build it, they will come. No, you got to work for it. It's 2019. It's not 1979 anymore.
Yeah.
Duane said, fuck that lazy shit. It's unfortunate how lazy people are nowadays. And it absolutely is. It's absolutely unfortunate. It's unfortunate how somebody can make a commitment to do something and then not follow through with it or do it half-ass and act like they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Why? That's that part of that trophy mentality.
Yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. Like, that's why I don't think everybody deserves a trophy. The people who work hard and achieve the most deserve the trophy. Like,
yes,
being
absolutely.
special is supposed to be a thing. Like, that's why most of us go to work is for inequality, so we can define ourselves or distinguish ourselves apart from the others. If we all had the same thing at the end of the day, what would be the incentive to go and work hard and bust your ass and to achieve more than others? I mean, not that I think everybody should be destitute who doesn't, but you should get what you put into this world. And those who put in nothing, you should pretty much sit at home like I said, that's why I like UBI. Sit at home in your little whatever, on your little minimum wage, eat your little government cheese and shut the fuck up. I'm cool with that if you don't want to do anything, but I think people who want to do something should also have that opportunity or at least have the means to go about doing that. And I think that in lieu of those people having those opportunities, we've been pretty much given a lot of fucking welfare queens, pretty much everything. And so we got to stop incentivizing having a bunch of kids and being able to sit at home and start incentivizing making wise decisions.
Yes,
the people who make wise
absolutely.
decisions, go to college, try to better the world, try to be impactful. Why aren't they getting welfare? Why aren't they getting help? Why aren't they getting assistance? They're getting laughed at and talked down and made to feel like assholes. As a single male, I pay some of the most in taxes and get some of the least amount back just because I made wise decisions and didn't go have a bunch of kids I can't afford.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Right.
How does that make any sense?
And even if you did, there'd be a woman that would be saying that, she's the one that's going to take care of it, but you have to pay a bunch of money in child support, and she's the one that's going to claim on the taxes anyways. Even though you guys may have a parenting plan that says you pay taxes or you claim 1 year, she claims the next, and go back and forth. How often does that really happen? Only when
never
the father and the mother both have enough integrity to stand by the agreement
like
they
I said,
made.
never.
Very rare. Very rare.
Yeah. I've seen very few divorces actually result in people being civil and communicating and working with the kid. And
Yes, very rare.
It's so rare. Yeah, it's almost like a unicorn at this point.
I knew a girl once that had 3 daughters, 4 babies' daddies. And the reason it's 3 daughters, 4 babies' daddy is because the youngest believed that a different man that she was dating at the time she had the kid was her dad.
And she found out
He
later.
put his name on the birth certificate knowing he wasn't the biological father. So guess what happened when they broke up? He is responsible for the child support.
Yes.
So the biological father is nowhere to be seen. And all of a sudden this man who was at enough integrity and said, look, I'm having a relationship with this woman. I plan on spending the rest of my life with her. So I'm going to assume the responsibility since the real dad doesn't want to be there. So he put his name on the birth certificate. And now she takes him to the hole for every single
And
cent
the funny
she
thing
can
is,
get
I've
out of
seen
him.
situations like that where they will go and get tested, prove that they aren't the biological, and still be liable
Yeah.
since they signed the birth certificate.
Yes.
So
Depends
yeah,
on what state you're in now. But
Yeah,
that's what happened with this guy. Like he's like, since they broke up, he's like, well, I'm not the father. And the courts are basically like, well, you signed the birth certificate willingly.
Yeah.
So you assumed the position.
I think every man needs to go watch the documentary Divorce Corp before they get married. Before you sign any papers, you just go see what the potentiality is, and you tell me where the benefit is on this contract. Because no matter what you want to call it, it is a contract. You are signing a document with the state that makes you liable for potential money up to 50 and more. So it's in everybody's best interest if you're going into any business deal
Holy
to
shit,
read
look
the
at our viewer
contract.
counts actually might be, maybe Twitch is fixing us now.
Right? But yeah, I like I said, Divorce Corp. That's one that everybody needs to see.
I agree. Duane said, I believe the D. Johnson, Duane, I believe the issue is the time we live in. We live in a time where people want the instant gratification. Hard work isn't taught anymore. What's taught is get on YouTube or social media platforms and act stupid, get that instant reaction, and it all comes down to wanting to be a part of something. If you look at the entrepreneurs of the world, they cared less about wanting to be a part of something. They went out and got their own.
Yep.
Which is somewhat true.
Well, man, all you got to do is look at all these fucking Dr. Phil stars that keep coming up. The Bad Baby or whatever her fucking name is, and the other one with the grill, and then the 8-year-old girl who's cussing out.
Right.
You guys are blowing these kids up. You
People
guys
are
are
becoming celebrities
incentivizing
because of the stupidity
dog
of
shit behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little white girls going and saying nigga and fuck this bitch and I'm gonna kill. Like, you guys are.
Snoop said,
giving
I
us
don't think
publicity
society has
and-
changed exactly.
Yeah.
I think society has changed a lot, personally.
It's the same.
but-
Yeah. It's changed quite a bit.
So, I want to get back into the swing of things a little bit. This is another mugshot. We're going to do another What Did They Do? The thing that kind of concerns me even more than the mugshot per se is the fact that Sumter County in Florida, shout out to Duane for another Florida story, is so thirsty for attention they have to watermark their mugshots.
Is this recent?
Yeah, I know you're looking at the hair. You're like,
I'm looking
yeah,
at this woman.
This bitch got to be from like 1988.
She looks like she's from the 70s or 80s.
Okay.
But she's young. Oh, man, what do you think? She's like 40?
I definitely don't think people are the same as they always have been. I think society has definitely evolved into something that is, I don't know, it's weird.
I think it goes through cycles.
Half
like
of us
everything.
progressed, half of us digressed, and it depends on which angle you're looking at it from. Snoop said definitely technology allows things to spread further and becomes wealthy from it. Yes, that's true. Stop for a commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, for the best comfort for your butt while you're gaming or sitting for long periods of time, we suggest Vertigear chairs. Check them out here. You can see the link in chat, or if you're watching this on YouTube, check the link below. So what'd she do?
She got really thin lips, so I'm thinking meth. And she looks scared. So maybe her pimp slapped her up a little bit because she does look like she had. Nah, maybe not. Maybe that's just the color. I don't know. I'm gonna say drugs.
Shawn.
Drug related.
My question is, why was this mugshot?
Watermark.
No, why was it painted? It looks like a painting.
It does look strange, right?
Yeah, it does look strange.
Or it was taken with a 240p camera in 1973. I don't know.
Oh, do you think it's a wig, maybe?
I think if it was, they would have made her take it off before the mugshot.
She got the same wig dude as Trump? That's what I'm saying.
Got the wig in
Yeah.
the same place Trump got his.
Yeah, was the camera like a?
Is that why she looks so sad? Trump standing over in the corner, looking at her, with hands on hips. You better not say shit. It's a good wig.
So
It's nice.
She stole her
Perfect.
wig from a department
Luscious.
store.
She still what?
It blows in the
Her
wind.
wig from the department store.
So that's what her charges are?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it.
It's gotta be drugs.
Florida woman killed and dismembered boyfriend in an RV.
I was off.
Damn, yeah, that was
In
way off.
Melbourne, Florida, officials say a Florida woman killed her boyfriend, dismembered his body in a camper trailer, and drove it 2 hours away, covering the crime up for months. Sumter County Sheriff's Office said deputies arrested 47-year-old Penny Rebecca Pospisil on Friday on charges of second-degree murder and mutilation of a dead body. Authorities say a 55-year-old Anthony Mitchell died of blunt force trauma in August after he started living with Pospisil in an RV village in Lake Panosofsky. Now, Duane was making fun of like the counties' names in Washington State, but Florida, Lake Panosofsky? What the fuck is that, bro?
Shkamania.
Northwest of Orlando, neighbors noticed a bad
Fix the
smell. Ugh. So authorities say 55-year-old Anthony Mitchell died of blunt force trauma in August after he started living with the chick in an RV village in some lake northwest of Orlando.
It's always Florida. Fuck.
Neighbors noticed a bad smell coming from the trailer. In September, the chick drove the vehicle to Melbourne, where people also noticed the smell. Melbourne police discovered Mitchell's body on December 30th after a well-being check in the campground. Police began investigating with Sumter County authorities, leading them to the Friday arrest near Melbourne.
I can't believe she killed somebody. Was he like asleep or something? There had to be more
Duane
to
said,
it.
get the fuck out of here. Florida again? Come on, man. Well, I got to find another mug shot of this next one.
Good Lord.
Because if I show the actual shot that I got, it
Is anybody trying to go vacation to Florida?
says what he did.
You know they partying down there. Shit is hyphy.
Yes.
Man. That bitch came from the fucking 80s. She came in the time machine back with fucking Doc Brown, man.
I have a feeling that this next one, you might like
I know her.
might be you might get this right right on the
You
nose.
might know that bitch.
Dwayne says she's not
It's
from
true, I
Florida. With a
might.
name like that should just happen to happen in Florida. Yeah, well, you go to Florida and you do crazy shit.
That's where I'm trying to go, man.
All right, what did you do?
Oh shit, I might know him. He looks like a.
You tried to impersonate Rick Rubin at a Sex Pistols concert.
I mean, it was child porn, obviously,
Okay,
with that mugshot.
all right.
Yeah, he was sitting at home
It
on the
definitely-
computer trying to talk to small children, and Chris
Yeah.
Hansen got him.
I was gonna say either that or, just raping women on park benches.
Well, look how he wasn't out running anybody. He wasn't robbing a bank. He wasn't. He
Yeah.
might be high on something, but I doubt it. He just looks like he's sleepy.
Yeah, I think he was like,
Child porn.
or he could have been hiding in a porta potty, like in one of the big ones.
Oh yeah, something sexual though. Some
Yeah,
sexual
He's like
dynamic.
catching like poop in his mouth.
You guys are not far.
I know I'm not. I never am.
Jury returns verdict quickly, finding accused child abuser guilty of all charges. Federal jury took about 20 minutes to find Andrew Kowalczak guilty of 9 counts of sexually exploiting 3 young girls, 2-year-old twins and their 8-year-old sister, over several months. Kowalczak waived his right to attend the final day of trial. He penned in a handwritten note to the judge that he demanded new lawyers and was tired of sitting in the kangaroo court. "There is no use to be here," the 44-year-old wrote. When he's sentenced in March, he could face up to 30 years in prison on each of the 9 counts in a case that veteran child abuse investigators and prosecutors characterized as the most heinous they've handled in their careers. After waiting a decade for the case to go to trial, the oldest of the 3 victims, now 22 years old, took the witness stand and sat through much of the 4-day trial. "I'm happy that it's over and I got closure," she told the Oregonian, Oregon Live, and after the verdict was read. U.S. District Judge Michael W. Mossman informed the 12-member jury that counseling would be available for them. The jurors had spent a full afternoon viewing dozens of lewd and sadistic images of the young girls that police found on Kowalsk's 2 cameras and a hard drive.
Say that last name again.
It's Kowalczyk, but Kowalczyk.
Walla Wallaska.
What the hell is wrong with you people? Why? Change your damn name. It's not even
Not
a word.
the fact that he's, so this guy was basically
that's why
the
he
kid's
did that.
babysitter. And while the parents away, he was
a baby.
First of
stripping
all,
girls
the
down and
parents should be
taking-
arrested for leaving the kids with somebody who looked like that. You fucked up.
Right?
You think
That's
I would
a
leave my kids with
terrible-
Shawn?
Terrible
I know better.
judge of
People who look like
character.
Shawn touch children.
That's rude.
It's rude.
Mom, I don't think that looks like Vern at all. I see Vern on a regular basis, but
No, but
guess I
for,
can see
for
it.
reals, that guy looked like, and it's like a certain twinge. You know what I'm saying? It's.
so.
Oh.
U.S. District Court Judge Michael Mossman informed the 12-member jury that counseling, blah, blah, blah. The jurors spent a full afternoon viewing dozens of lewd and sadistic images of the young girls the police found on Kowalsk's 2 cameras and a hard drive.
That's how he said it the first time.
There were other images of the
25
girls in their
syllables.
diapers, bound and hung from a shelving unit or shower rod while wrapped in one of Kowalczyk's shirts. In one video, an investigator identified Kowalczyk as the man whose voice could be heard saying, come here, baby," as he guided one of the toddlers to his erect penis.
Oh, disgusting.
They're in diapers. They're barely verbal, Assistant U.S. Attorney Gary Sussman said of the 2-year-olds. Kowalczyk gave the children toys, food, and gifts and paid for motel rooms in Portland where they and their mother stayed in 2005. The mother testified that she often left her daughters with Kowalczyk as she looked for an apartment to live in or sold crack cocaine to make money. Kowalczyk has been a friend of the mother's brother. Kowalczyk used the mother's desperation and manipulated her to gain
What up,
access
Rage
to her
Queen?
girls, prosecutors said. He was supposed to look out for them, care for them. Instead, he raped, sodomized, and abused them in horrible ways, Sussman said in his closing argument. Even worse, he recorded the abuse, he memorialized it, and he did it repeatedly.
How is he found not guilty now? I'm so confused.
So he
No, he was found guilty.
Okay.
jury returns verdict quickly, finding accused child abuser guilty of all charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I was like, what in the actual fuck?
Kowalczyk was arrested on unrelated charges in Puyallup, Washington on December 27, 2007. When police seized the bags he was carrying out of a Northwest Motor Inn that day, they found his cameras and a hard drive. Police discovered the child pornography images on the devices and publicly released a non-pornographic videos of the alleged victims to try to identify them. A short time later, the mother contacted the police and multi-agency federal investigation ensued. Investigators linked Kowalczyk to the crimes by identifying his appendectomy scar in his lower abdomen in the photos, distinctive shirts he wore in the photos that were later found in a storage unit he rented, and by matching up the bedspreads and furniture depicted in the images to the rooms rented at several Portland motels. The alleged abuse occurred at the Econo Lodge Inn on Northeast Sandy Boulevard and Motel 6 on Southeast Stark Street, Madison Suites Motel on Northeast 82nd Avenue, and the Parkway East Apartments on Southeast Powell Boulevard. Prosecutors also played for jurors 2 recorded phone calls from Kowalczyk made to his father from Pierce County Jail in Washington State in January 2008. Sussman urged jurors to recall the panic and desperation in Kowalczyk's voice as he spoke to his father. "Did you get my stuff out of the hotel room?" Kowalczyk asked his dad. "If they get my hard drives, I'm going to do life in here." At one point, his father advised him, "You shouldn't be talking this way." Kowalczyk's defense team, Assistant Federal Public Defenders C. Renee Maines and Ryan Costello, didn't call any witnesses. They argued that law enforcement had tunnel vision solely focused on Kowalczyk without considering other potential suspects. Costello called it a confirmation bias in his closing argument. From day one, he said investigators zeroed in on Kowalczyk without considering another man as a potential suspect, Jesse Wilfong. Kowalczyk had rented the motel rooms for the girls using Wilfong's name and identification. Wilfong died while the case was pending. Law enforcement's failure to investigate Jesse Wilfong matters. It matters because we don't know who abused the girls, Costello told jurors. They have the wrong man. Sussman quickly dismissed Costello's convention as wild theories began to spun. They are not supported by any evidence. He urged jurors not to allow the defense to shift the blame to some dead guy. The jury was sent to start deliberating at 11:45 a.m. Thursday. Notice of a verdict came around 12:07 p.m. So it took him literally 20 minutes.
I wouldn't take me that long. fuck.
Well, probably
they
didn't
don't.
take him
They
that
don't
long
have
to
any a video of his face.
No, but markings on his body.
He had an
sounds like.
appendectomy scar that they were able to identify from one of the videos, and they got clothing out of his storage unit that was seen on the same person that was.
Yeah, I mean it's
Nice.
it's as definitive as you could essentially ask for. String that nigga up. Like, I'm okay with you guys doing some terrible things to people like that. You know.
Well, not only that, the mom admitted that, yes, I used to be a junkie, and he would babysit my girls while I'd go out and sell crack.
She says sell. She means does. But
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is, regardless of what she was doing, you shouldn't be fucking them children. Like. But yet again, it's like, how is she not partially liable, or like
That's what I want to know too.
yeah.
This continues to say agents from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and a retired Portland police detective returned to the courtroom with federal prosecutors to hear the verdict. In the front row, the oldest victim also waited anxiously. Assistant U.S. Attorney Scott Karen turned to her just before the jury filed in. Now, the oldest was 8 years old when it happened, right?
I thought they said 10 years later.
This
And
is
she's
all for
22.
you and your sisters, you said. That's what this is all about. This is what kept us going through all this, said Attorney Scott Karen to the oldest girl. Kowalczyk, who had already been through more than a dozen lawyers in this case and contends he was not mentally competent to stand trial, asked the court in writing to appoint him new lawyers before his sentencing.
Yeah, he's trying to go with the insanity defense.
Yeah.
Nah, nigga, you're not crazy. You're just fucking sick. But this is why, like we were talking about earlier today, I'm an advocate of getting
it
them
was-
help before they get to this point,
Two-year-old twins and their 8-year-old sister.
8-year-old sister.
So she was 8 years old.
Yeah.
She was old enough for those memories to stick in her
Yeah.
head like nobody's business.
For sure.
So she knows who it was.
Yeah.
She'd be able to look him in the eye and know, yeah, that's the guy that did all of this shit to me.
For sure. Well, that's why it's like, how can you even
The everyday
have
progressives, the
you know,
goddamn listers.
a fucking conflict? You have it on film. You have the
Hey,
witness
Rage
there.
Queen, what up?
Damn.
Good to see you. Yeah, that
Can only hope they fuck him up in prison. Like, that's the
You
only
know,
like justice you can hope for.
I
you know?
hope that Shawn clips this and somebody emails it to all of their prisoners they know, because they do have internet access in a lot of jails now. So maybe
Sure.
word will just get around.
Well, I mean, most
Is
people.
that premeditated? Can I get in trouble for saying that?
What?
you clip that
No,
part
you
out?
didn't say that you.
I
are
just hope
trying to
everybody
incite.
sees
You're
it.
not trying to. You're not going for a call to violence against him. We're just saying we hope it happens.
I hope everybody sees
Yeah,
this.
there's a difference. So,
Hope
nigga, if you
everybody
guys want to
sees
meet me in the parking lot, let's go smash that nigga. I mean, bro, what's up with your beard? Shave your beard. Shawn, why do you try to mimic their beards? Are you trying to like
What are you talking
maybe
about?
that'll keep them away if you
Shawn's
were
been
them?
keeping his shit real.
I know his
trim
shit's
lately.
been super on point
He's been
lately. I can't
clean,
even
man.
say
Like,
shit.
he's-
I'm just trying to give you a hard
I think
time,
he's
damn
got
it,
a
Shawn, because
female
being so
he's been
quiet.
trying to impress, but that's gonna leave that. To
Yeah,
myself.
is you talking to somebody? Is that what the shaving is all about?
No, I'm just sick and tired of.
Looking like him.
No, just it's fucking long. Shit.
It was getting pretty
My
out
shit
there.
hair is way long. I need to trim it. Time is it?
I'll go like times where
Like,
like I'll
one
shave it,
something?
and other times I'll just be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna grow it out," and then whatever, just whatever I feel like.
I'm just jealous because I can't grow a full beard, so I just gotta harass everybody who can.
Did you guys hear about the book that was found in Canada that used to be owned by Adolf Hitler?
I want it.
You mean like his diary?
No, it was
Dear Eva.
Hitler owned a book hints at plans for North American Holocaust. A rare book owned by Adolf Hitler, which is believed to detail the blueprint for a North American Holocaust, has been acquired by Canada's National Archive.
That's awesome.
What does that mean? He was gonna come over here and get dick
Yeah.
slapped by
Yeah.
us, or
Yeah, he
Well,
wants.
but-
once
they're-
we
they're-
get to the Russians, we go get the.
Well, I'm sure they were going to
Americans.
planning on infiltrating Canada first because they're,
Oh yeah.
they knew they could take on the Canadian Mounties. Library
They're on mooses. We got this.
Library and Archives Canada purchased the document last year for $4,500, and it was just unveiled for the first time Wednesday, just days before International Holocaust Remembrance Day on Sunday. The 130, I think that's bad timing to me, if you ask me. But
What? Sell it?
No, it was unveiled just days before the International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
That's probably smart.
A book owned by Hitler on how they were planning on
Yeah,
taking
you get somebody to
over
buy it for more at that
the
point.
North
if you reveal
American
it, right?
Holocaust.
think it's great timing.
Yeah, best time.
The 137-page report titled Statistics, Media, and Organizations of Jewry in the United States and Canada was compiled in 1944 by German linguist and researcher Heinz Kloss. He was responsible for conducting key research for the Nazi regime on issues such as nationality with a particular focus on the United States. Have you ever done any research on Heinz Kloss?
Dude
is fucking mental.
I'm sure
man.
I've heard of him, but not as much as like Joseph Mengele and like the.
Oh,
doctors.
they worked closely together.
Yeah,
very
I'm sure
closely together.
I know, but I can't recall anything off the top of my head about him specifically.
Heinz Kloss, from what I remember studying, he was very big on mental aspects of Jewism and thought that you could talk somebody out of being Jew. So he was trying to
De-Jew people.
Yeah, by using weird
Psychological
tactics. Kloss, who visited the United States in 1936 to 1937 and maintained a network of Nazi sympathizers, used in 1930s population data to produce a personalized census of the Jewish population in North America, along with information about Jewish organizations and newspapers. Michael Kent, curator of the Jacob M. Lowry collection, which is preserving the book, told CNN that the report would have likely played an important role in any implemental of the final solution, the term used by Nazi leaders to describe the extermination of the Jewish population, had the Third Reich successfully invaded the United States and Canada. Kent described the report as quite shocking and noted that it included detailed analysis not only of cities with large Jewish populations such as Toronto and Winnipeg, Manitoba, but also small urban areas. While other Holocaust memorial organizations have opted not to acquire or display any Nazi memorabilia, Kent told CNN that this was important for the archive to do so due to the rise in xenophobia, dwindling knowledge of the Holocaust, and rise of Holocaust denial.
Yeah, which is insane to me.
It's ridiculous to me.
Like, how can you have documented proof of something when, like, before it was easy to, fake shit. Not to mention we have sites that we can go visit today with marking. It's just like, how much evidence do you need before something is? We have a written statement from a Nazi defector or dude who went
Space
in
is
hiding.
fake, bro. Space is fake.
Flat Earth.
The everyday
could you have a world
progressive
war
said
if there was-
Adolf Hitler.
If the world is just a disc.
Duane Johnson said, Hans
Oh
and
my
Franz
God.
were here at one time to pump you up. Then the everyday progressive said, I remember that, DJ.
Right.
Huh?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe remember learning about the stuff. Are you referring to me as a DJ? I'm not a DJ. Rage Queen said, oh my God, we talked about this so much in school. Oh yeah, Rage Queen's from Germany. So yeah, I'm sure you're well more versed.
Suppress. Do not let it out. Is all I can imagine the Germans are teaching.
We need to, let's
The Holocaust?
think we could find
There's
any
no
Holocaust
Holocaust.
deniers to have on the show. Might be easier
mean,
than finding flat earthers.
I doubt it. Who
Just
like
search on Twitter.
They're not going to reveal
bro,
their identity.
nobody would reveal that they were an actual. Because isn't it like a crime? Like in Europe, you can't even deny it.
I don't think it's a crime here. Though.
I don't think it's a crime here.
because you're freedom of speech.
Yeah, but
Free to your
you're
opinion.
gonna be ridiculed off the air. There was that little
Nine.
girl, that little cute, like 16-year-old girl who saw a couple denial things and was like, "It's true," and like kind of ran with it. But the denial footage she was using was
The
from a guy.
dinosaur denier.
No, she's funny too though. No, there was a little girl who pretty much was saying that the Holocaust didn't happen, and she was using like a documentary as a reference from a guy that pretty much didn't do all the science, he just pretty much went around and tried to poke as many holes in things as he could. And I found it interesting because I watched the whole documentary. There may have been one or two things that kind of been exaggerated or like kind of blown out of proportion. That does not negate the fact that there was a legitimate genocide. Like you guys were trying to the word
Rage.
gets kind of like misused. I feel like a lot, like genocide. Like this was a legitimate. We're trying to get just them niggas, round them up, even in America, like across the world,
Right.
and exterminate just them. That's legit, like what it is. you
Rage
know?
Queen
So-
said, Owen, you can watch a documentary about this every fucking day. Yes, that's true. This is honestly the first time I've heard of a documented script of
Denial?
plans to infiltrate United States and Canada.
Oh, I mean,
On their,
they were kind of working
I mean,
with America a little bit.
I knew that they had plans, but I didn't.
There
realize
was
there
shit happening
a
right
book
off
about
our,
it to me.
right off
That's
our
a big deal.
coast, like on the East Coast.
Well,
there was,
we had a Nazi
There was
bank
Nazi
on Wall
subs.
Street.
Yeah.
And then we also had like a bunch of money being funneled over to Germany from American investors and businesses. And so, like, essentially, we were kind of like,
The Trumps.
yeah, no, it wasn't Trump's.
The Trumps were funneling the Nazis.
But yeah, there were American corporations who were sending money over there and kind of like funding both sides of the war kind of thing. Pretty interesting. Like, the more you delve into what was going on
How
during World War II.
sadistic the corporations were.
Yeah. Well, it's just like anything. It's profitable to keep
Yep.
war going. I can keep selling bullets. I can keep selling guns, keep manufacturing missiles, tanks,
Oil.
like all these things are
Oil
profitable.
industry.
Why would people stop doing the things that are making them money? That
Right.
doesn't, you know.
So does
have you guys, speaking of that, have you seen the show The Man in the High Castle?
I have not.
It's on Amazon Prime.
I haven't watched anything on Amazon Prime yet. I need to.
Yeah, right.
It's about if Germany, it's about if we lost the war. If so they split the U.S. into half Asian culture, like Japan, and then half Nazi. Well, I think it's like mostly Nazi in that show.
Interesting.
It's actually I started watching it and I was like, I want to get into it. It's super well done, and I was like, I need to like set aside time to get into this because
I
it's
don't know
fucking
how
good.
they would have won, because I've watched a couple things breaking down like how ambitious they were, which was essentially kind of what shot them in the foot, is they were trying to fight the war on too many fronts instead of localizing their armies and like taking one strategic target at a time. And so had they been more militarily like up to par, you know what I'm saying, like with
Their strategy
rocket
was a little
technology, tank
poor.
technology, which was also really good at the time, but essentially we were just out producing them, you know, like their tanks were superior, but they took longer to manufacture, and
Thank
we
God
were
they
able to
didn't
make 16 for every one tank and just go out and
Thank God they didn't get their jet planes.
thank God they didn't get a lot of things.
Well, because they were like they already had them built. They had a few of them that were
Yeah.
flying, like way before. I mean, we had nothing even
close. Not even ballpark. Yeah.
And they just hadn't produced enough of them yet.
That's what I was saying.
That's
That was
basically-
most of the thing, is like they were manufacturing everything so much slower and then dividing their forces all over.
Yeah.
It just was essentially impossible for them to win with the strategy that they took. Had they done it right and not pissed off everybody all at the same time, it's like you're going to piss off the Russians and the Americans and the European. Like, you're just going to fuck over everybody? You're just going to push everybody?
Well, they had Japan on their side.
Cool. What did that do for them? Not enough.
No, not enough for sure. But
You
like
know?
this show is interesting because like, and I watched a few episodes, and the premise is like modern day.
Yeah.
Like it's now, but it's if they won World War II.
Yeah.
And so it's the
I would be
world's
interested to
completely
see.
different, and the production value on that is
Must be
really
really good.
It is. It's super well done.
I'd be fascinated to see like somebody's take on it, what they think would happen, especially with like Japanese expansion into America and then like German expansion.
I think the Japanese got like in the show they got everything west of the Rockies, and Germany got everything on the east coast, like everything on the east pretty much.
Mm.
And there's a kind of like a little gray zone in the middle of the map according to their map or whatever.
Where they just kind
and
of
and then Americans, it's like basically Americans are still working and doing stuff, but they're
Rage.
being forced like in this almost like slavery type of situation.
I would be interested to see what would happen with like Mexico and Canada at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like if they pretty much were able to acquire that much power and territory, what would stop them from potentially?
I think they
pushing
touch on
into-
that, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I would think that it would be pretty much the no-brainer to push into Mexico and take South America down.
And Americans are trying to take the country back and in the show, and like there's all kinds of like hidden stuff, and people are getting like all this. It's crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, well,
a
I'm
little-
on board.
little-
I'm gonna check it out.
little bit of
Rage
scene.
Queen says the situation in Germany is very hard with all these Nazis. I'm curious as to which situation specifically.
Yeah,
Are there really still a lot of Nazis in Germany?
there's Nazis in South America as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of
Seems
the
like a
places they
better
went
place.
and hid,
Better
they
place.
essentially turned into like little Germanys and stuff. There's
Huh.
like towns in like South America that you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. It looks like German construction and everything.
Really?
People, yeah, entire
Wow.
towns where people speak nothing but German. Yeah, it's pretty nutty.
That's a weird part of the
Where?
world. South America.
South America. I want to say like Argentina or something like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Wow.
South America is a
never would've known.
weird
Yeah.
place on the planet because it's like,
So many people dominated different parts of it. that-
well, it's like it doesn't have a ton of technology. It doesn't seem like it. Like they're not.
What?
There's no country
South
in
America?
South America.
Oh,
that,
Rage
like-
Queen says because we have so much refugees here. So the situation with all the refugees is harder with all the Nazis.
I know that.
I'd imagine if they didn't like Jews, they probably don't like Muslims.
sure.
Or, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
especially
anybody
when you
that's
think you're
not
like the
white,
superior race.
period.
Yeah. I can't imagine that would go well.
I'm gonna go become an Aztec.
You should.
I'd be down.
This article continues. The book will go on public display Saturday before portions of it are made available online. Rebecca Margolis of the University of Ottawa noted in a statement that the report offers documentation confirmation of the fears felt so acutely by Canadian Jews during World War II that the Nazis intended to invade North America. Experts believe the report was part of a confidential series of research commissioned by Hitler and stored at his mountain retreat near Berchtesgaden in the Bavarian Alps. The book plate bears a stylized eagle swastika and the words Ex Libris Adolf Hitler, which suggests that it came from the Nazi leader's personal library. The report, along with other books owned by Hitler, is believed to have been brought to the United States as a souvenir by American soldiers after they raided his property at the end of the war in spring 1945. The Holocaust Education Trust expressed shock over the finding. The story highlights Hitler's obsessive anti-Semitism and the chilling Nazi ambition to murder Jewish people wherever they were in the world, a representative for the Trust told CNN. It reminds us of the need to remain resolute in standing up to anti-Semitism, defending historical truth, and educating the next generation. Stephen Wilson, chief executive of the UK's United Synagogue, told CNN last Sunday the British Jewish community carried out an extraordinary funeral as we buried the remains of 6 Holocaust victims murdered at Auschwitz. Auschwitz. Sorry.
It's all good.
It was a stark reminder that Holocaust is not an ancient history, but still in living memory. This is a reminder of the continued importance of the fight against anti-Semitism and the ongoing importance of Holocaust education, particularly for younger generations. The book will be stored in the Jacob M. Lowy collection at Library and Archives Canada in Ottawa. Other libraries in North America to store books owned by Hitler include the Library of Congress and Brown University Library.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. And I just just pulled up the next article, and
That bad?
it's not. It's just so weird. Part of me kind of wishes like I had that book, not because of any connection to Hitler, but a lot about World War II fascinated me.
Same.
And it continues to. Like I really hope to go to Italy someday. I want to go to Mount Battaglia.
Yeah.
Because my grandfather was a Blue Devil, and Blue Devils are more respected as far as American soldiers overall in Italy than most of American soldiers are in America.
Yeah.
And it's sad to me. But I want to go there just because I just want to go there.
Yeah.
So. Oh, this guy.
Is he?
I've only got 2 more articles and we're done.
Oh wow.
Thank God.
I mean, I do got to roll out at 2. I may actually be perfect timing.
Yeah, me too.
Got like 40 minutes.
What did he do?
He lied about his Indian heritage and was collecting government checks. I don't know. He actually does
He
look
came
like
out of the ice 6 months ago,
Cro-Magnon man.
and he tried to fit in, and
There's a movie about that.
it hit some women with a club and drugged them into a alleyway in New York, thinking,
My name?
is
Ooh.
it? Yeah,
Nugs. Betty Nugs.
yeah.
There's a movie about that.
So
He went-
his bloodline just stopped evolving. Like
Yeah, he just
100,000 years ago.
he was trying to
He's like, I see you guys evolving over there.
he was trying
not
to
for
get
me.
his bloodline passed down now, like jumping the generations.
So he's an Indian. He's definitely wearing one of those like tribal shirts. Like right below it is like a wolf, like howling at a moon or something like that.
Are you sure?
He was yes, he was drunk driving. He hit a semi truck, and the truck swerved into a bus full of children and exploded.
And he walked out unharmed.
And he was fine.
All right.
He was like unbreakable.
Yes.
Then he
Well,
went.
just because you're so drunk. Because when you're drunk, you just.
Then
take
he
no
took his
damage.
club out of the trunk, hit a woman, drug her into the
nearest cave,
and
and now we have Cro-Magnon
slash
children.
slash alleyway. So we have dead children, semi truck, like gas explosion,
Oh shit.
baby on the way.
So I was asking if there still is a lot of Nazis in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Rage Queen said, yeah, they burned down the shelters and beat up refugees in the street. Like it's that big of a deal. Holy shit.
Do they yell Sieg Heil? The whole time?
Heil Hitler. Mom said Sarah shut the fuck up and be is lying alive. Must be doing another White House press conference. Duane said, I was just going to say some caveman shit.
I wonder what she's saying now.
You guys ready for the truth?
The truth.
What happened? What did
Three
this guy
Fs.
do? Man who sliced boy's hand with samurai sword indicted for rape and child pornography.
That was my next guess.
New Orleans, Louisiana. A
That
River
took
Ridge,
a twist I didn't expect.
a River Ridge man has been arrested and charged with raping a preteen girl and producing child pornography with the victims in Orleans Parish.
A samurai, you say?
District Attorney Leon Canizaro's office secured an indictment against 37-year-old Edwin Rodriguez for first-degree rape of a juvenile under the age of 13 and production of child pornography involving a juvenile under the age of 13. An Orleans Parish grand jury handed up the indictment on January 24th. Rodriguez was arrested by the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office in August after he sliced the hand of an 11-year-old boy with a samurai sword when the boy armed himself with a knife to defend his mother after Rodriguez threatened the woman with the sword.
Damn.
A search of Rodriguez's cell phone turned up the child pornography, and the victim, who was sometimes in Rodriguez's care, told investigators that Rodriguez had raped her.
Jesus
The sexual
Christ.
assault occurred sometime in 2017 or 18 between the victim's 11th and 12th birthdays, according to Canizaro's office. Rodriguez faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted on the rape charge and 25 years to life in prison if convicted on the pornography charge. At the time of the indictment, Rodriguez was out on bond. He now faces $150,000 bond related to the indictment.
I mean, if I was 11 and somebody was raping my 13-year-old girlfriend, he had a samurai sword, I mean, you could just have her.
Rage said, I'm glad when I moved back to America. Yeah. Well,
I mean, what's pussy worth to you? A samurai chop to the hand? Or
You're probably not going to have too many Nazis beating up refugees. So that's a plus.
Not if the refugees had samurai
I was
swords.
gonna say.
Mom said it's her first of the year. She's been in hiding from the mean press. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, you guys are mean to her.
You guys are
Okay,
mean
she's
to her.
sensitive.
Now, you know how we're always talking about how, like,
Sarah hurt
or-
feelings a bee.
Are you kidding me?
I don't even know who she is. I don't care.
Sarah Huckabee?
Don't tell me you're
I mean, I
The
probably
lady
do.
with the
Oh,
eye?
is she the White House
Yeah,
lady? Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Cool. I mean, I don't care.
What are you doing? KPTV must be mad at me.
I would say that all the people like that are liabees. Yeah, they're all lying.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
Shut the fuck up, Abby. Sarah Sanders Huckabee.
I mean, they're just all liars.
So many people are like,
Fat
well,
mouths.
Antifa is bad, and Antifa are the bad guys, and Antifa are the mean guys, and Antifa are the real terrorists.
Who says that?
I hear it all the time. I hear it all.
I mean,
the
they
time.
are.
I mean, I know some Proud
But
Boys.
but so are like
Proud Boys.
yeah, the Proud Boys or whatever. And not all Proud Boys. That's another one of those groups
Well-
that kind of got hijacked by dummies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very much so.
Not all
Yeah.
Antifa are bad people either.
I agree with that.
Yep.
100%.
Not all everybody that wears an
It's
Not
It's
all
when-
anything is anything.
It's when it's when you have a large group of when your group grows large, you're gonna
You get
have
assholes.
asses
Yeah.
and ass hats in it,
Yeah.
and they're gonna become the thing.
Yeah.
Like It doesn't matter what it is you're talking about. Anything. Just
No.
pick something out of a hat.
Yeah, like the Proud Boys started as like a drinking group, like just people being stupid,
look at
and then
this.
evolved into
Yeah.
Antifa House. Smash.
Aunt Tia's house.
Omnis?
Is that ominism?
Ominism?
I'm not quite sure. Oh, communism probably.
Oh, communism.
Smash communism. Antifa House. Smash communism. Because they have a Black Lives Matter sign in their window?
Yeah, you come up to my house and try that.
I know. It's
You're
like
gonna get a shovel to
you
your
would write
face.
that. You would assume that they're communists just because they have a Black Lives Matter sign in their house. It's
I
like
got me
assuming
a
somebody's a
samurai
racist
sword.
because he's wearing a red hat. It's like just as asinine. Like, can you believe people assume things about people based upon like arbitrary things? Like,
What is
it's
this
fucking crazy.
What's this WW symbol?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's probably more
Wide
of a hate
woman?
symbol. But I can't see what it is.
It's white women symbol.
Yeah, regardless, going and causing property damage or physical harm to people over something so simple, pretty silly.
I'm not quite sure there what that is.
That's why you need to put.
Rage said, "Yeah, there is my home because we moved to Germany when I was 6 years old." Oh, okay.
Put
So she
Gatling
wants to
guns
move
on
back
your
to
roof.
the U.S. Gotcha.
I know, right?
They're out to terrorize. Vandals tag Portland buildings. Intimidating words have been tagged on not one,
Glad you
but
do.
3 Portland buildings in one night. Now the targets of vandalism have the message of their own. The Democratic Party of Oregon offices, Cider Riot Brewery, and Union Hall of Industrial Workers of the World, that's what that is. Union Hall of the Industrial Workers of the World were all vandalized. Black graffiti displaying messages like Antifa House, Fuck Antifa, and Smash Communism were found in the buildings, all within just blocks of each other. The first thing a community does is say no to hate, and this graffiti is from a hate group. Brad Martin with the Democratic Party of Oregon said, "There's just no room for that in Portland." The words "Good night, left side" are now covering his office. "It's sad and discouraging. It's not the Oregon way," Martin said. Fox 12 crews found more graffiti on a brewery just 2 blocks away.
So triggered.
Who's this guy saying this?
They're like, there is Republicans and conservatives in the Pacific Northwest. Did you know that?
Who's
Devastated.
this guy? Who's this guy?
Fucking
The
devastated.
guy that said that the first thing a community does is say no to hate. And
Yeah,
this
who is that guy?
This is from a hate group. Brad Martin
Who is?
with the Democratic Party of Oregon.
Is he
So
like,
there's no room for that in
It's
Portland.
exactly what
I
it's
mean,
called.
but what does he do?
Selective
What's
hearing.
his? Is he a Congress? What is
The
he?
funny thing is they
No,
post
he's
this story
probably-
with 100% seriousness while trying to downplay that they were harassing a child who was wearing a hat. Like, they do it in the same breath, and they think that people take them serious.
Well,
There's a reason people get dismissed in this
there's a
world,
lot of
and it's because of their intellectual dishonesty.
Blah blah blah. There's a lot of Democratic Party people that are
Intellectual.
also. There's a lot of Democratic Party people who are also denouncing the claims against that little kid. There
They
is a
should.
lot.
They should, because they're smart and they realize that they were caught in a retarded moment and they needed to backtrack.
In your opinion, but anyways,
I mean,
in the
sense,
opinion of
facts,
half America, yeah, we get it. Are we gonna keep beating this fucking horse, or can we move on?
I mean, we can move on, but it's like this isn't an opinion. This is fact. We have
It
it,
is
on
also-
tape. It'd be like the dude was taping the kids and had the mark on his stomach. That it's the same thing. If you have it on tape, it's not an opinion anymore. It's a fact. I mean, do you disagree? If you have video evidence of something, it makes it factual versus not.
It is still my
High-speed
opinion that
chase.
kid is a fucking punk.
And yeah, you're entitled to your opinion, but that has nothing to do with the fact of the matter, which is he's not, and he said he's
How
not.
do you know he's not?
He
do you know
said
a
he's
person?
not.
Oh, because he said he's not.
Yeah. If you
Wait,
say,
if you try to tell me you're not black, it doesn't mean you're not black.
bro, like that's so. Like I said, this
I'm
is
not
a straw
fat.
man argument.
I'm not fat.
Yeah, straw man. So you can
Okay.
feel however you want, and you're
All right.
entitled to your opinion. But is the fact that you're not fat, or is the fact that you are fat? Like, let's just be honest and call things what
I
they
think
are.
it's pretty clear.
Okay.
Just
Same
like to
thing.
me, it's pretty clear that little kid's a punk.
And it's only pretty clear to you. It's not pretty clear
I
to
said
everybody
to me,
else.
didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm entitled to my opinion. Are we gonna keep hashing this fucking shit, or are we gonna move on?
I mean,
you
we
keep
can-
bringing up this fucking garbage.
I didn't.
Can we move on? We can't get on. We can't get past something until people just start letting shit die.
But you can't let it die when it's not dead. Like I said, if it was done, if people were like, if everybody
Whatever.
had to come off and admitted that they were wrong, everybody across the board, we would have already moved past it. But the fact that people have dug their heels
But you're
in
over
and
there.
not-
You're sitting over there pointing fingers at the Democratic Party because the Democratic
I
Party
point 'em
does
at both
this, and
sides.
the Democratic Party
I
does
point
that.
them at the other side too when they do stuff. I said the exact
have-
same thing.
I don't recall you pointing fingers at the Republican Party at
I have
all. First
from
of all,
multiple sides, and I said
can
exactly.
I fucking finish? This is part of the
Please.
problem. Like you say, we need open dialogue, but can't have open dialogue because every time I try to say anything at all that tries to express my point, you cut me the fuck off.
That's not
You're
true.
You are just now. You just did.
Okay.
Do you want to listen or do you want to just speak?
I'm
We can't
listening.
have open dialogue until you open your fucking ears and
My
I
ears
open
are
my
open.
fucking ear.
What have I not heard? I can't interject. Is interjecting
Thank
not
you
a
for proving
thing?
my point numerous times.
What have you not been able to express? What have you not been able to say?
The first thing a community does is say no to hate, and this graffiti is from a hate group. Brad Martin of the Democratic Party of Oregon said, "There's just no room for that in Portland." The words, "Good night, left side," are now covering his office. "It's sad and discouraging. It's not the Oregon way," Martin said. Fox 12 crews found more graffiti on a brewery just 2 blocks away. It said, "Fuck Antifa," and it was clearly an attack on us, Abram Goldman Armstrong, owner of Cider Riot Brewery, said. "They target me with having a Jewish name. It's clearly against their worldview." The brewery owner said he found black X's and words about Antifa covering his business Thursday morning. "Very anti-Semitic, very racist. This is where our flag was. They stole that as well," Goldman Armstrong said. He also said his security camera footage shows someone spraying 3 black X's on his windows. Less than a mile away, huge black letters can be spotted on the front of the Union Hall of the Industrial Workers of the World. The graffiti says Antifa House and Smash Communism. The IWW spokesperson said their window was also smashed, but now flowers, food, and messages of solidarity are pouring in. "It's sad to see this happen, but we stand strong against it. We know the history of Portland and that Portland stands up against hate," Martin said. "They're clearly out to try and terrorize people, and that's something we're not going to stand for," Goldman Armstrong said. Copyright 2019 KPTV/KPDX Broadcasting Corporation, all rights reserved. So many people in Portland are just in this la-la land. I don't understand it. It's a very bold statement to say. It's sad to see this happen, but we stand strong against it. We know the history of Portland and that Portland stands up against hate. There's so much more history in Portland that is for hate. There's so much more history in Portland. Oregon as a state that was founded by racist KKK members, but
Like who?
apparently, huh?
Do you have evidence of that? That's a lot of
There's
assertions.
been a lot of evidence of that, and
Founded by KKK members and on KKK principles. I don't recall any of that. I know it's a port city. I know it was founded on.
Oregon was
trade.
founded as a racist utopia. White utopia, Oregon's racist history. When Oregon was granted statehood in 1859, it was the only state in the Union admitted with a constitution that forbade black people from living, working, or owning property there. It was illegal for black people even to move to the state until 1926. Oregon's founding is part of the forgotten history of racism in the American West. Waddle's Coffee Shop in Portland, Oregon was a popular restaurant in the 1950s for both locals and travelers alike. The drive-in catered to America's post-war obsession with car culture, allowing people to get coffee and a slice of pie without even leaving their vehicle. But if you happen to be black, the owners of Waddle's implored you to keep on driving. The restaurant had a sign outside with a very clear message: "White trade only, please." It's the kind of scene from the 1950s that's so hard for many Americans to imagine happening outside of the Jim Crow South. How could a progressive northern city like Portland have allowed a restaurant to exclude not white patrons? This had to be an anomaly, right? In reality, it was far too common in Oregon, a state that was explicitly founded as a kind of white utopia. American history of racial discrimination is most commonly taught as a Southern issue. That's certainly how I learned it about while going to Minnesota public schools in the 1980s and 90s. White people outside of the South seemed to learn about the Civil War and civil rights movements from an incredibly safe and often judgmental distance. Racism was generally framed as something that happened in the past and almost always down there. We learned about the struggles for racial equality in cities like Birmingham and Selma and Montgomery, but what about the racism of Portland, Oregon? A city that's still overwhelmingly white? The struggles that were just as intense, though they are rarely identified in the history books. According to Oregon's founding constitution, black people were not permitted to live in the state, and that held true until 1926. The small number of black people already living in the state in 1859 when it was admitted to the Union, were sometimes allowed to stay, but the next century of segregation and terrorism at the hands of angry racists made it clear that they were not welcome. Oregon has more than its fair share of utopia community experiments. The definitive book on the topic is Eden Within Eden, Oregon's Utopia Heritage, where you'll find plenty of those utopian communities cataloged, but the book kind of misses the forest for the trees and not recognizing the fact the entire state of Oregon was founded as kind of a racist utopia. Racism explored in an otherwise excellent book. Thousands would travel to Oregon in the 19th and 20th centuries looking for their own versions of utopia. Some brave and noble people made the journey that would become cartoonishly immortalized for at least 3 generations now in the computer game Oregon Trail. But unfortunately for people of color, the pixelated utopian vision of the Promised Land was explicitly designed to exclude them in real life. This is not to pick on Oregon in particular as being particularly racist and terrible. The de facto exclusion of any non-white people from a number of businesses, institutions, and communities occurred throughout the Northeast, Midwest, and West. Oregon seems to have been just a bit more vocal and straightforward about it. I spoke over the phone with Walida Marisha, an educator and expert on black history in Oregon, and she was quick to explain that the state is only really exceptional, and that it bothered to proclaim its goal of white supremacy so openly. What's useful about Oregon as a case study is that Oregon was bold enough to write it down, and Marisha told me, but the same ideology, policies, and practices that shaped Oregon shaped every state in the Union as well as this nation as a whole. Today, while 13% of Americans are black, just 2% of Oregon's population is. This is not some accident of history. It's a product of oppressive laws and everyday actions that deliberately excluded non-white people from a fair shot at living a life without additional obstacles being put in the way. This is a long article, and I will copy and paste it.
Yeah, no.
But there have
I
been.
feel like a lot of people
I've read
don't
dozens
know this
and dozens.
information.
Yeah.
And I think I don't
It is-
know.
it
I
is
don't-
quite
I don't know
uncommon.
which ignorant statement. I never spewed anything as a fact. I never said that Oregon wasn't founded on it. I said I don't know, because that's true. I don't know. I find it shocking, because I don't feel like that's really taught that much in schools or anything. I don't feel like that's brought up. It's normally pretty much the demonized South versus
I'm not laughing at you.
the great North, but yeah, no, I find that massively fascinating. I had no idea of that.
There are actually maps. Is it red light district or red district?
Yeah, but this.
Do you know what that refers to?
Talking about downtown Vancouver or Portland, you mean?
And anywhere. I think maybe it is Portland's red district now.
Yeah,
but it was. You know how it got its name? God, what is that? I gotta find it.
I don't. I do not. No, but I find that massively interesting.
So
how do people disassociate racism in this country if even as far north as Oregon and into the 20s people weren't even allowed to live in the state, yet people like to act like racism is so far behind us. It's this thing that didn't happen so far ago. It's bro, Jim Crow was less than 50 years ago or something like that.
it wasn't that
50, so it's let's call it like it is, be honest about it. But at the same time, I don't think that that's the majority of the world, or even Oregonians at this point. I don't think the majority of Oregonians are racist anymore. I could be wrong.
hopefully.
But it doesn't feel that way living on the West Coast or, traveling.
Mom said I said too many young people like Holocaust desires. Oh, far too common for younger people to ignore history.
Anybody
and
who
spew
can, deny the Holocaust is fucking. You haven't done even baseline research. It's pretty silly.
God, I want to find this article. So there used to be maps and how Portland is lined out in different districts.
Yeah.
Part of the reason they have the different districts is to define where black people are allowed to live. Black people, they're some of those districts that Portland's historic whatever district.
Yeah.
They're not going to say where only white people could live in today's text, but areas were outlined based on what nationality you were.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more of that than people like to give credit to. Like I said,
all over the country.
Even though slavery was, not legal, then having to love them and care about them just because they're free, that's, that didn't happen overnight. And I don't think we're still there, and so that's why I think it's disingenuous for people to act like it's just this, utopia where everybody intermixes and everything's cool. It's not even close. Not really. I think we're getting closer to it every year, but I just do not agree with that sentiment that we are on a whatever the level playing field. But I'm still kind of taken aback as to why you feel like I don't let you speak or like don't like cut you off. I mean, I do interject sometimes, but I mean I let you think or like express any full thought process. It's your podcast. I'm not like talking you down or anything.
Realistically, it is our podcast, but many times over the last 2 weeks, anytime we have been passionate about a subject, and you ask for my opinion, I start to give it, and I use a lot of words to try to paint a little picture. That's just the way I am. And many times, I feel like I'm like halfway through my point, and you just start over talking me, just like you made the analogy of, when somebody starts feeling defensive, they start putting up walls and they immediately start name-calling or slewing insults because they can't get their point across.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not giving me the opportunity to get mine across. And there's been a lot of times I'm just like, all right, you done? Are we done? We're moving on.
Yeah, which
because I felt like that.
Yeah, but why not just express that or say, let me finish, which you normally do, and then everybody shuts up and lets you get
I've got
like
to
a
the point where
long-winded explanation in. Like, the thing is, people should be able to interject. If you're saying something that needs to be like clarified or something, that's where the interjection comes from. I wouldn't just do it to purposely like interrupt your thought process. Like, I'm trying to get clarification points so I can further understand. Because the whole thing is with communication is we're clearly having a disconnect or somebody's not understanding the full thought process somebody else is having. So clarifications are needed to get to that point to fully flesh out the full thought. Because clearly, just saying whatever base level thing you're saying is not clicking for me. So I need to understand how you derived whatever conclusion you came to. Because even still, once we've talked about something or you've seen 2 hours worth of video, you have an opinion about something. And for me to understand that, we need to flesh out, we need to get deeper in, because it's not just the video, because the video is the video. The video is the proof, the logic, the thing that I'm using as my explanation.
Right.
And so when you then take that and have a completely other thought process, I'm just trying to understand how we got to that point, because the evidence is the evidence, and you're completely sidestepping that and saying, I feel, or this is something else, pretty much dismissing the evidence, the thing that we can go back to time and time again. Anybody can say whatever they feel about a subject matter. I feel the kid didn't do anything wrong. You feel the kid is a racist. But the fact is, he stood there and didn't say shit to this man who was in his face.
I didn't say I feel the kid is a racist.
Doesn't matter what you feel. You feel and I feel. We both feel. The fact is the fact.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying is in the middle. And then getting clarifications to get to why you feel it is something else, I don't think is shutting down your conversation or trying to impede on the way you're saying things. I'm trying to further understand, because I want to get to how you feel that way, like why the entirety or just a article of clothing can pretty much put a kid into a classification as a racist or a whatever you want to label them as. Just like for this building, how one sign, Black Lives Matter, can label them as Antifa, communist, all like. How do we make these huge jumps with zero evidence just because we saw one thing, like one series of words, Black Lives Matter,
right?
Make America Great Again. Like, it's silly to me that we make these huge jumps with zero evidence when we could just sit down and have a conversation with the kid and pick their brain and ask them what they mean. How do you feel? And maybe they're lying, maybe they're dishonest, but how do you know unless you conversate with them? There's a lot of things that people do which could be misconstrued as something else.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
The abortion thing, for instance, I just watched the Walk for Life, the March for Life that the kids were at. It's tens of thousands, if not, 100,000 people there. So it's a conversation that I think deserves to be talked about. But all those people who believe that abortion is wrong and killing babies, they're completely dismissed as assholes. That's not fair either. Right. I think that everybody has a valid voice at this fucking table and should be able to conversate and express themselves. Just because they wear an article of clothing or say Black Lives Matter or abortion rights matter or like all those things are valid. Let's hear your explanation and try to get to the closest amount of truth that we can. And obviously, we're going to have our different opinions on, like I said, where to meet at the end and how to get to these places. But by dismissing people as either a racist or an Antifa or all these things do nothing to help further the conversation. They do nothing to help you sound like you actually know what you're talking about. It does the exact opposite. It pretty much makes you sound like you have no argument because all you can do is paint somebody as a racist without giving good arguments. Well, they're ad hominem attacks. You don't have to do that if you have a good argument. If you have a good argument, you can talk circles around your opponent. If you don't have a good argument, you try to paint them as a
Sometimes
racist
even
and
if you
label
don't
them.
have an argument, you still try to talk over and talk circles around your opponent. And
Yeah,
it's just
that's because I
ignorance,
like
but
debate. I'm good at debate, but that doesn't
You're a
have
master
anything.
debater, but
I am a master debater, but that has nothing to do.
I absolutely
with,
understand when you don't necessarily have a point to prove. You just want to keep talking and talking and talk over somebody.
But
get
but
it.
I don't.
I get it.
I don't ever do that.
Okay.
Especially in this format. This format is supposed to be for growth, for communication, for the betterment of society. Like I come here with a mindset. Like I treat this essentially as a job, and I take it very serious. Like
I don't.
I do
doubt
have a
that.
jokey
I don't
aspect,
doubt that at
but-
all, and I think we all should be, except for Shawn because he's falling asleep.
Well, yeah. I mean, politics stuff is overwhelming for a lot of people, but
It's overwhelming for me. I fucking hate it.
Yeah, me too.
I fucking hate it. But I at the same token, I feel because I love this country and I love the people in this country,
Exactly.
I feel I have a responsibility to address it.
Same.
And if we're not addressing it, we might as well be like the guy that's like, well, my vote doesn't matter. And these people are allowed to vote.
Yeah. Well,
Voting is a right, responsibility, and a privilege, in my opinion. And I think,
yeah.
to me, I think it's offensive when somebody says somebody doesn't have a right to vote because of their IQ level.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's our right as an American. It's a constitutional
I didn't
right.
say that it necessarily has to be an IQ level. I think that there should be some sort of test. I don't know what exactly it should be, but it should encompass like the knowledge or the ability to make informed decisions. If you have no concept, you're out smoking crack all day and beating your kid, your vote should, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
Thank
you for clarifying
Yeah.
that. And I understand that. I absolutely understand that wavelength. I understand that thought process.
Yeah.
Because to me, somebody who's just going to open their ballot and start checking boxes without doing any research, without paying attention to it, is just as offensive.
But that's what I'm saying. Why does that deserve the same level of it count the same or weighed the same as the person who goes to school for this and studies and understands politics and is in like a
because it's a right.
But why is that a right? That's what I'm saying. Like, let's talk. I mean, and I think we're kind of all getting to that point anyways. We need to start talking about, I think, the fundamental rights in this country.
I agree.
You know?
I think in order to be able to purchase a gun, you should have to go through some sort of aptitude test.
Same.
I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. But
Yeah,
until
so
we get to these points,
I was gonna say, but why?
a right is a right, and we can't take them away from people.
But so why should we have to do that for a gun, for a car? Why should we have to, or at least be in that thought process of you need to do that? But the person who writes the laws for the guns or writes the laws for the cars and puts all these things into legal terms, we don't have to have any level of understanding or knowledge for them. Just everybody willy nilly. I think personally, like I said, it's and
That doesn't make sense either.
it makes no sense.
But how much about the Constitution doesn't make sense?
I mean, a lot. But that's why we've been trying to rewrite and slowly but
And
surely.
that's part of the reason why
know?
the country is divided in half, because we're fighting over so many different constitutional amendments that people are just one side or the other. Where's the level-headed people in the middle?
I don't know. I feel like
I thought that's what we were.
But we can't even have a conversation with it devolving to screaming and stuff, Like,
It's-
as much as I've been trying to have this conversation and get the progress piece, like, I don't know how many other ways I can try to approach it and show you besides, like, what if your daughter was the next one who decided to put on that hat and then go to school? Would it then be justified for a grown man like me or twice my age to get in her face and beat a drum or yell at her or treat her derogatory and say that she's a fucking racist, get the fuck out of my country, you're a piece of shit, I should hit you with the stick? Does that give me that right just because she put on an article of clothing? Like
Absolutely not.
No,
But
but
do
that's
you
what I've been saying this whole time. Do you think?
And I've
Is it fair for me to then look at her and go, you must then also be a racist? In my opinion, is that fair for me to project that onto a child? Just because they put on an article of clothing without even probably fully understanding the ramifications of those things. Is that fair to do that?
To say that they must be, absolutely not. But for you to assume that they might be is absolutely your right.
Yeah, it is your right. But when we start doing
Just like
things
when
like
you see
doxing
somebody-
them or
you
socially
saw-
ostracizing
You
them.
saw a guy that had 2 teardrop tattoos on his cheek, so
Yeah.
you assume that he killed 2 people while he was in prison.
I don't have to assume. I could probably
I know people with
prove it.
I know people with facial tattoos and spider webs on their elbows and teardrop tattoos.
Who ain't killed nobody?
They never killed anybody.
Well, them niggas is setting
Faking
them
the
up for,
funk.
yeah, they're setting themselves up for
they're guilty by
disaster.
association by what markings they're putting on them. And to a lot of people in this country, the Make America Great Again hat does stand for a symbol of racism.
But it doesn't.
To a lot of people in this country, the Make America Great Again hat does stand as a symbol of racism.
And people would say the same thing for the Antifa thing, which is why they spray
Absolutely
painted that building.
true.
So at what point do we say, or like you said, impartial or adults in the middle, reasonable, rational people, do we start talking down both sides and say, you guys got to stop approaching these situations like that because it's A, dishonest, and B, it's not going to help
And that's where I absolutely
anybody.
disagree. It's not dishonest. It's
How is
more,
it not dishonest?
It's more me being absolutely honest with you. If I say by putting on a Make America Great Again hat, to me, I feel like you might be racist.
Yeah,
that's way more honesty than anything else. Do
and
you
I
want my
appreciate
honest
you
opinion or
saying that.
not?
Yeah, I appreciate
You want me to be
saying that.
fake with you and say, just like all of the, you said something along the lines of to you have a hard time believing that there's that many racists still out there. I think there's way more racists than you give it credit for. They're just not going to be racist to your face.
Well, no, but then how do you go about proving it? You can't. Just like you can't prove
You're right.
anything. Like I said, and so.
But wouldn't you
when
rather
get into
have
thought
these
crime
racist
territory? It's not fair to start project because we don't know. You can't prove any of that stuff until we get a thing that can go into everybody's head and detect when they're lying. Absolutely. It's
I gotta
all
go pick up the
speculative.
kid.
So we just, we're all kind of sitting here in la la land projecting whatever emotion we feel moment to moment, which we know is not an accurate representation of the truth. I feel certain things. Sometimes girls wake up and they have dreams that we cheated on them. Did it mean we cheated? No. Is it justifiable that they project that thought or that emotion on us? No. It's honest that they have it. It's genuine that they're feeling that direction. But is it fair for the world to have to then deal with the backlash, the nonsense? I got to deal with the whole day of her being angry at me for something that isn't true just because you felt it. That's not right.
It's
you
not
can
right.
feel however you want, but we shouldn't then be writing laws or socially ostracizing or doxing children.
And I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
Okay, that's pretty much it. But we have adults, people with the verified blue check marks like Kathy Griffin saying dox this kid without even looking at it.
That's
That's where I have the issue.
And I said that's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Now, if the kid and I had a face-to-face conversation, I'd be like, look, by putting that on, I really do feel like you wouldn't care if there was a black man hanging from a tree. And if you could tell me to
He did it
eloquently.
Have you pulled up the interview? Have you heard what he said? He said they asked him all those questions.
Of course he's going to say shit like that in an interview. Look, I'm not going to...
Well, yet again, like I said, then how do you, if let's say, legitimately,
Donald Trump has said that he has no racist ties in many interviews.
Okay, but let's say,
I don't believe that.
But let's say hypothetically, this is a hypothetical situation. We can prove definitively he doesn't want to hang black people from a tree. He doesn't want to.
Then
do
I
all
will
that.
admit my wrong assumption. But it's not going to change the fact that I still feel like people that put that hat on are okay with racism or are okay with misogyny.
Yeah, I just don't know
okay
how.
with sexism.
Can you help me understand how you make that leap? All because Donald Trump said a thing?
I'm not going to spend another fucking 2 hours trying to go over this and over this and over this. I don't have to.
You absolutely don't have to. I ask for you to because as a friend, I just would like to understand.
Supposed to go pick up a kid right now, first of all.
Oh, is it that time
And if
for
you really want to get into this, we can. Sean, you don't have to be here tomorrow. We can have a discussion on this entire reason why I do think that there is some major disconnection between an actual American patriotic citizen and somebody that wears that hat.
Yeah, I would love to because, like I've said,
if you really want to know my opinion, I will write an entire thesis for you.
I would love. I mean, like I said,
and I think that the best option for me is to write it down, so then you can't just keep cutting me off when I'm trying to explain why.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but like I said, I shut up and let you get as much or the full amount of whatever that you want to get in, and I feel like this is just more of like a dishonest
Duane
technique.
said I will be there. No, if we're going to do this, it's going to be one-on-one, dude.
That's fine.
Because this
it's one-on-one anyways. This nigga is asleep.
I know. That's why I said Shawn doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, I mean, we just need him here for levels so when we start shouting.
Any fucking, if it's going to be an evil thing or even thing, it's going to be an even thing.
I mean,
I will be there. Duane, you only want to get political when it suits you, dude, and that pisses me off too. So.
Yeah, I like all of it. The politics, I like the religion, I like the entirety of the situation, and I find it all like massively fascinating. And one of the things I find the most interesting from like the conservative camp is how fast they can swing this in their direction, just as quickly as the liberals will do. Like we were talking about earlier.
I think the liberals are better. I'm not even going to say liberals.
They're better
the
at getting
Democrats,
emotion of response. Yeah, it's easy to paint people as a racist and a bigot and a homophobe. They could do it to you or me. I say things that could be misconstrued as racist all the time.
Absolutely.
I'm not a racist. I've worked
We all
with
do.
children of all nationalities, and I love everybody genuinely and want the best for this country. Like I said, I could just as easily put on that hat, and just because I put on the hat, now all of a sudden I want to hang myself from a tree and all other black people, which just absolutely makes no sense.
Again, I never said they wanted to hang anybody from a tree.
Just in your opinion.
That's not what I said. Keep putting fucking words in my
Well,
mouth, and you won't be invited back, dude.
This is why.
This is what I'm getting fucking
No,
sick of.
Sick of what?
I not once ever said they want to.
You said
My
in your
exact words.
opinion.
In my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if they were okay with it.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean they want to take a black man and hang him.
obviously.
What it means is if they saw a black man hang him, they wouldn't be bothered by it.
Yeah, so
there is a huge fucking difference.
I agree, and I've agreed with you on that numerous times. Like I said, you don't got to get
You
angry
keep
and
putting
yell
words
about
in my
this.
mouth and
I
make
never did. I never
No,
did.
you keep saying the same fucking thing.
I don't.
Because if somebody has a MAGA hat, you think that they want to kill black people. That's not what I said.
Okay, well, you wouldn't be surprised, with them
If they
hanging
were
from
okay
tree-
with it, absolutely. There's
yeah.
a big fucking difference.
I don't understand. Like I said, we'll never understand how you make that leap. When I see black people wearing that hat, you believe that
People
each
like
one of
Kanye
those.
West, is that really somebody that represents the black community?
Not necessarily the black community. And what is the black community as far as that's concerned? Like, he represents the black people who are wearing it, that black community,
He's
black
the
Republicans,
only black
black
person I've seen
conservatives.
wear it.
He's not the only black person I've seen wear it. And like I said, I've been to the point where I've thought about wearing it. Does it then am I okay potentially, in your opinion, or however you want to construe it, with people potentially hanging from trees? That's like not a fair assessment.
It
It's
wouldn't
not
surprise me
intellectually
if you were by
honest.
putting that hat on. Yes, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot of things that wouldn't surprise me about today's society. Does it mean that I think that you would want to do something like that? Absolutely not.
No, but that's not what you said, and that's not what I implied that you said either.
That is what you implied I said, because you said it numerous times.
It's not. It's not. And
You've
like I
made
said,
it
for
clear
clarification,
numerous times.
No, for clarification's sake, I've even said it, explained it every which way. Like I said, don't think that. Whatever long-winded, way you want to do it, the semantic route that you want to take it, fine. I agree with your assessment of how you feel. I don't disagree with that because I couldn't prove it anyways. Like I'm saying, it's your assessment. It's the way you feel. That is what it is. But the fact is, there is still something else to this entire equation besides people's feelings. Feelings should not be legislated. Feelings should not be the thing that we go with. It should be with what we can prove, which is why the court of law is on what is provable, not how people feel. Because Justin Trudeau dealt with a feeling situation too. Him and a woman were at a party, and 15 years ago, whatever, he brushed her shoulder or put his hand on her shoulder, and now, 15 years later, she feels sexually assaulted. Is Justin Trudeau now supposed to go to jail because a woman feels 15 years later sexually assaulted? Feelings are not a way to get to truth, and it's not a way to assess situations honestly. It's just not fair. It's not honest.
Okay.
That's it.
And there is no situation that we're assessing based on feelings. I don't give two shits about this kid.
I know nobody does now because it doesn't fit their narrative.
It's not even about my narrative. I don't have a fucking narrative.
Had the kid actually been a racist, we'd be still talking about this in full across all news stations.
Well,
Promise.
if the kid came out and admitted it, absolutely. But that's taking it to a whole different level.
I mean, it's not. Like
that's
I said,
not even about a narrative.
Intellectual
that's about
honesty is all I'm about. And I would do the same thing if the Republicans were out there calling for people to be hung from trees or doing racist shit. I would be right there with the Dems going, demonize them. Like, I fucking
and I'm
ridicule
not there with
them.
the Dems demonizing him. I think the kid's a little fucking punk.
Yeah, I don't. I think he's commendable. I really, truly believe that
I don't
in this time.
I don't give a fuck what the situation was, and I don't give a fuck what age I am. If there was a Native American coming in towards me, I'd step out of the way. Now, if he kept chasing me around with the drum, then yeah, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed, and eventually I would just stand my ground. But I'm not going to stand there like a cocky little bastard and stare him down either.
Well, yet again, that comes down to people's different opinions. Mine, Nobody gets to approach me and invade my personal space without my consent. My consent is paramount before you can invade my personal space. You invade my personal space after hurling insults at me, I'm probably going to slap the shit out your hand, if not slap you. Yeah, they did, the Indians, on tape, fact. Indians saying, go back to Europe, you fucking white devils and all. Yeah, on tape.
I shouldn't hear
I know, because you didn't watch it. That's what I'm saying. The intellectual honesty is all I ask for out of anybody. Watch what people say. Watch what the Indians said to the kids.
I really don't want to spend 3 fucking hours watching this garbage.
I don't blame you. Most people don't. They just like to get whatever thing suits their story and then run with it. Intellectual honesty is hard because it takes work.
It takes story anymore because I don't fucking care.
I know most liberals don't care because it fell away. It did not fit their narrative. It's not Trump bad. It's not grab him by the pussy. It's not another thing we can demonize Trump with. I get it. It hurts when you're wrong initially, but that's why intellectual honesty is important in being able to admit you're wrong. I'm not. Bro, I'm wrong all the time about a lot of things. It happens. Like, what? Why is that a bad thing?
Good morning, YouTube, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Good news, we're doing a weekly giveaway on our YouTube channel for Amazon gift cards. All you got to do to enter is like the video, give us a subscribe, and comment below. The more comments you give us on the weekly videos for that week, we go Monday through Sunday, the more chances you have being entered, basically. So I'm going to go through whatever the most creative content is as far as your comments go, and I'll pick a winner, and I'll send you a gift card. It's pretty simple. Free money. Who likes free money? I know I do. Subscribe. Have a good day.